All right, hello. I believe we're live now. um, I'm not seeing any chat messages, and usually I can see chat messages before we begin. So I'm just gonna send a test chat message.
I think people are. There's one. People are filtering
There's one now. Okay, yeah. No, it's because on my back end here, for some reason, I'm not seeing it. Like the chat window doesn't seem to be loading in my streaming studio. So I was worried that the chat wasn't working, but I can see now on the actual YouTube app, which is what I'm going to be looking at anyway. So hello everyone. Hello. Max, you, Pavani, Didak, Wilgi, and Jiaging, welcome. We have Banana Meteor already with us on voice chat.
Good to be back. Taking the sidelines this time. This is mostly Libras's work, but I'm always here to offer feedback and hopefully have interesting topics of conversation.
I think we always do. Oh, at least it's interesting to me. I don't know about everyone else. And we should have Infinipede join us shortly as well. Ah, good. And now I can see that the chat messages are finally starting to show up on the actual stream video as well, which is great. I'm sorry, Pavani. I don't know what is the correct pronunciation of your name. I'm sorry if I butchered it or if I made it sound like I was grossed out by it. Hello, Cthulhu. Hello, Jenkins. So, I'm not even going to bother putting any sketches on screen because I did very minimal sketches for this. Really... I hope that this doesn't turn out to be kind of a boring stream, because I don't really have too much to change about them. Horsea in particular, I think Horsea is great. Like, Horsea is, it's simple, it's cute. The one thing that I think it could use is a little bit more detail and slightly more interesting colors. I think the colors are really where I'm going to be like departing the most from the official designs. So we'll see what you think of that. For Seadra, so here's my thing with this family. As just Horsea and Seadra, I don't like Seadra. Like, Seadra doesn't feel like a complete, like a fully evolved Pokemon. Which is, hey, probably why they put Kingdra in afterwards.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, honestly. Sometimes when they add an evolution, it kind of feels like that Pokemon was complete. I think this is something we talked about for the Rhyhorn Rhydon line. Mm-hmm. But, like, no, Seadra really feels like a middle evolution, so I'm glad that they rectified that.
Yeah, I think that this was... that the new evolutions generally worked better in Generation 2 because a lot of the Pokemon were actually designed along with the Generation 1 Pokemon, and then there were designs that they cut, right? So some of the designs that were eventually added in Generation 2 are ones that they had originally planned with Gen 1. And so it makes sense that the Gen 2 evolutions would generally work pretty well. The, like, Gen 4 evolutions, they feel a little bit more disconnected overall. Some of them still work well, but... So, obviously, because we're only redesigning the Gen 1 Pokemon, I'm not going to redesign this as a 3-stage line. I'm not going to do a Kingdra redesign. But I really like Kingdra just on its own as well, so I think I am going to kind of blend the two a little bit, use some of the elements that I like from Kingdra, but try to still keep it more on the Seadra side, and yeah, change up some of the detailing on it. This is something that I think is interesting that I just noticed when I was gathering all of the reference images for these guys. Horsea nowadays canonically only has the one fin, but there is art of it having two fins. And then, Seadra always has two fins. Always had two fins from the beginning. Always shown with two fins. And then Kingdra, from the beginning, always shown with one fin. So it kind of goes back and forth. But seahorses only have one fin, so I think even for Seadra, I am going to keep it as a single fin. But yeah, just fairly simple redesign today. A little bit more interesting on the Seadra side. So I'm gonna start with Horsea, and I'm gonna start drawing them all in profile, because pretty much every reference image of all of these Pokemon is in profile, so it's gonna be a little bit easier to see the original and then see the changes that I'm making.
Yeah, sure.
But I think I want to draw it in a slightly more like 3/4 perspective or something like that. Something a little bit more interesting than just putting everyone in profile.
Yeah, it's more interesting. Also, hi guys.
Yeah. Hi, welcome. That's
Hello.
Infinipede.
That's
Finally
me.
joining us. So yeah, so I do want to play up the kind of dragon side of Seadra as well. That's going to be part of kind of blending Seadra and Horsea, is it Seadra and Kingdra. But let's start with Horsea, and actually for Horsea, just for like the figuring out what the changes are going to be, because it's going to be so similar, I'm just going to trace it. Don't hold it against me.
Tis. Gonna tell your art teacher.
Did you guys have art teachers that told you not to trace? I know that that's a thing. Like, people think that tracing is bad. I think that there are definitely good uses for tracing.
My art teacher actually told me to trace, but
Cool.
that was a guy I hired. He drew like some of the SpongeBob books, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, and he actually suggested buying some tracing paper and using it to like refine stuff and practice.
Oh, tracing paper for refining like your sketches and stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
but
an
also
interesting
just
idea.
to practice like just the movement of your pencil and whatnot.
Yeah. Didac mentioned adding a poisonous look that could be added, but not too much, because Seadra does have Poison Point. And
yeah, good point.
I thought about that, and I looked up whether like seahorses are poisonous or toxic in any way. Could not find anything. So I don't know why.
An example of a defense mechanism, like, oh, it looks poisonous.
Yeah, I couldn't find any reason that why they would have made it. Would have given it Poison Point. I don't know.
Well, it's also a dragon, to be fair.
Does that make the poison
No,
make sense?
but it's also not exactly a seahorse.
No, but there are also sea dragons that are closely related to seahorses.
Literal dragon. It's Pokemon.
Well, yes, but like
I mean, it is
Dragalge is both a sea dragon and a literal dragon, and in a way, so is Kingdra.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it for like Seadra, it doesn't. The animal doesn't have to be poisonous for the Pokemon to be poisonous. Is all I'm saying.
Well, yes, it's just it's only the one ability. Like, Seadra is the only one that has it, so it's weird.
Yeah, that is a little odd. Yeah, I just thought you were saying like. I mean, you did mention at one point we're not taking stats into account, so we probably shouldn't take the single ability into account too much, unless you want to.
Yeah, it can be a source of inspiration or something.
Yeah.
I realized that I just like went full on like tracing everything rather than only tracing the parts that I'm actually going to use. So let's erase some of this. I got carried away tracing all the important parts. This is a very minor change, but because because seahorses have more fan-shaped fins, I figured that could be something we do. Just instead of the like fish fin, stereotypical fish fin shape, make it more of like a fan shape. For no reason other than it's different and it's what seahorses have. The eye, I actually really like Horsea's eye. I think it works really well to make it look cute. And seahorses have huge eyes, but they are not cute.
Yeah.
So,
Debatable.
yeah.
Some people think they're really cute. So
I think
I personally
seahorses in general, I think they're cute. Seahorse eyes are, if you look too closely at them, they're a little bit scary. I don't know.
To each their own.
You like the eyes of seahorses?
Well, now I gotta pull up a picture, because now I have not deeply looked into the soul of a seahorse, so now I have to discern how I feel about that. Seahorse eye.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of like it, you know?
Actually, there is something from a seahorse eye that I do want to use, because often they have these kind of like ray patterns coming out from the eye.
It looks like a starfish almost inside the seahorse eye.
Yeah, and I thought it would be kind of cute to make it look like cartoony eyelashes almost, but as a pattern on the face.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
They remind me of chameleon eyes, which I'm very charmed by. So no shame to the seahorse eye.
I guess like they're kind of like bulgy, right? But
yeah, they're bulgy and they have they're like what is the way to phrase this? Kind of when the center of the eye moves, like the whole eye goes with it. There's not really like whites of the eyes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I am not sure. Like I haven't seen seahorse eyes moving, so I don't know how they move.
Very similar to chameleons.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. So I guess the main like physical change to Horsea is that I'm taking a lot of inspiration from I think it was called Japanese pygmy seahorse. A small, cute seahorse that lives in Japan. There's a lot of different seahorses, so I tried to focus on ones that live around Japan. Just because I feel like those would be the ones that Game Freak would be more familiar with to take inspiration from.
That's got a bizarre body shape.
A little bit. I mean, seahorses.
Like
seahorses in general.
I mean, if you look at like most seahorses, they do not look like that.
If you look at most seahorses, they all look weird.
No, I mean this one is particularly strange looking.
Well, I don't know what like photo you're looking at, but
it's the first one that comes up on Google Images. Like
I'm looking on Wikipedia because that's what I used for.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the tail is very thin compared to the body. So like,
yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't taper like a normal seahorse body kind of does. It's just like somebody drew like a rat tail onto the bottom of like a normal seahorse.
Yeah.
I guess.
But what I'm gonna use mostly from that is just like the general color. I'm not gonna make a really thin tail because that does look weird.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I was saying.
And the other thing is that they have a bony ridge that goes down the back, and so I like that to play into the dragon side of it. So instead of having the spikes on the side of the face, I want to give it a little ridge on the back. A stereotypical dragon ridge or like dinosaur ridge. You know what I mean?
You should put another fin where the spikes used to be, like a much smaller fin. Because if you're looking on the hippocampus Jepapingu picture, it's the same one I saw. It's got a smaller fin on the side of the face.
Oh, that's true. It does. Yeah, I could put something there to.
Yeah, maybe even just like
ground
a
it a
facial
little bit.
marking. Like, doesn't have to be a fin, just something that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
To make up for the kind of plainness of the facial shape without it.
Yeah, but there is also going to be like color to it anyway.
Yeah.
So
it depends on where the color is, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like I said, a marking there might be nice, or like a marking that is fin-esque there could work.
Let's see. If
To the people who are saying to make Horsea less fat, you need to be looking at this image that I'm looking at, because this is the most pot-bellied seahorse I have ever seen.
Yeah.
This seahorse has a fucking beer belly.
Maybe he's pregnant. Who's to say?
No, they're just... Julie, have you seen these images? Because they're like... I feel like Libras, you need to pull up this image and just put it on the screen, because this is the
I can do that. It's
fattest
just
seahorse.
yeah. Usually I don't want to do that because I want to
But
like,
at least
properly
show it for,
credit.
like,
but
a
yeah,
second,
I can
just-
put it on.
Yeah,
I'll grab it.
just so people in the chat like know what we are talking about, because it's like bizarre.
Okay, so just to make sure that I'm giving the right attribution, this photograph that I'm about to put on screen is taken by Hiroyuki Motomura, and it's on Wikipedia. Oh, this is a smaller version of it. I'll grab a bigger version.
It's tiny though, 2 millimeter.
The biggest seahorse is 8 centimeters. They are all
those
tiny.
No, but relatively, like, speaking.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
True?
What's that?
Is that true that the biggest seahorse is 8 centimeters?
Yep.
What?
see, I would need to see how long 8 centimeters is, because I don't know that immediately.
It's like a third of a foot.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. I was thinking of the ones I've seen in, like, aquariums.
Okay, now hold on.
8 centimeters is less than a third of a foot.
I have just pulled up a picture. I don't want to show it on stream because it's very much a dry, dead seahorse, but it is next to a ruler and it is very clearly 13 centimeters.
Well, maybe 8 centimeters is the average size of the biggest species.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would
that
believe
make
that.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like,
Like, I'm
literally
pretty sure I
the
have seen-
biggest individual, yeah.
Not to blow up your spot on seahorse facts, but I had to immediately be like, no way, I've seen a seahorse that's bigger than that.
Yeah, when you said that, like, that, I was thinking, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen a seahorse that is, if it's
Yeah.
smaller than a third of a foot, like, I've seen a seahorse that would be a third of a foot with the tail uncurled. So,
Yeah.
like, I mean, they're small animals, but, you know,
Uh,
like, I've seen, like, your basic seahorse at, like, the saltwater fish store near me,
Yeah.
and it's,
Yeah.
those ones are a little bigger.
The smallest species is like, I think it was 1.7 millimeters.
Wow.
Little babies.
Yep. So anyway, this is the Japanese pygmy seahorse that I'm referencing. So I'm going to focus more with the colors of the female, which is the one on the right that's just yellow and orange, rather than the colors of the male on the left, because I think the male is a little bit much for especially for a first stage.
Well, yeah, you could make the belly red on maybe Seadra, though. It's like have Horsea just...
Yeah, for the colors, I was actually thinking of making it yellow and red, but making the belly blue, because it already feels very like a big departure to make a water-type Pokemon not be primarily blue.
There's a water-type Pokemon that are primarily blue.
Not many, though.
No, I mean, in Gen 1, you have, like...
Magikarp, Seal,
Staryu, Gold-Eaten Seaking...
Dugong, Shelder, Cloyster. It's quite a few.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I was counting as Shelder and Cloyster, not so much on the... I was not counting them on the not blue side. Like, sure, they're not strictly blue, but they're, like, cool colors. Yeah, Kingler, and Seaking, sure.
Very few
Magikarp.
of the water types in Gen 1 are blue, and I think Horsea and Seadra are one of the few ones.
This is the stream where Libra says something, and then all of us go, no!
Actually...
Oh, sorry, Libras.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be... Like,
no, sure. In Gen 1, maybe the proportion is a little bit less on the blue side, but just overall...
Yeah.
They definitely tend to be on the blue side.
Yeah.
Blue is certainly their most prominent color.
It is, yeah. Looking at, like, it seems to be actually more in the later gens that they've been like, water type must be blue.
Yeah.
It seems like most of the not blue ones were actually Gen 1.
So, with that in mind...
Would make sense to keep them primarily blue.
Yeah, so I don't want to make them primarily blue. I want to make them primarily yellow with some red, but I was thinking the belly could be blue to kind of to ground it into the water type.
That, like, I'm not sure. I would say I'd have to see the, like, shades you use.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would suggest, like, yellow, blue, and white. But obviously, this is your design. I'm just chucking ideas out there.
I think it'll work. I think the main body being yellow, and then having the ridge on the back in particular, and maybe some spots on the tail be red, and the belly be blue.
Okay, yeah. If it was just like the ridge and spots, then that makes sense.
Yeah, and the eye, red eye.
Yeah,
to maintain
definitely
that.
the red eye.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, this is basically what I had in mind for Horsea. I guess I can put some spots. I can just like draw on the tail where the spots would go.
Yeah.
But
cute.
Yeah, I like Horsea. I don't want to change it too much, but I feel like
Maybe
the colors are going to
the
be different
ridge.
enough.
Maybe bring the ridge up to like the very top of the head.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, because it looks a little plain up there right now, but that's just me.
Yeah, and then it also looks like horse hair, like a horse mane.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, because the Japanese pygmy seahorse is also known as the Japanese pig. The like Latin name even comes from Japa pigu, Japanese pig. Yeah, so I was considering changing the like hose snout into like a pig snout. I don't know if that would work well, but like
you could maybe make the snout a little shorter.
Maybe. But yeah, it's just because seahorses don't have like the hose-like snout, right? Like there is an opening there, but it's just their mouth. They can open and close that.
Yeah.
And
but
so
I mean, it's a approximation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of extending the like almost a caricature of an animal.
Yeah, for sure.
Is I guess the way I'd put it.
But a pig snout would still look cute.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bit much. We'll keep it a hose. Yeah. So anyway, there's actually I'll put the colors on it now, since this is just the reference anyway, and I'll try to draw it in a more interesting angle later. I guess I have this image that I can just steal colors from. And
yeah, there are
adjust
quite a lot
from
of
there.
non-blue water types, but I think if you look at the proportion from gen to gen, there were a lot less blue water types in Gen 1. At least that's like with a quick look through like the Cerebi decks.
Yeah.
Like, there's still quite a lot of not blue water types, definitely.
Are there a lot of warm colored ones though?
Yeah, somebody pointed out Octillery, Crawdon, Orange is pretty common. Floatzel, Gorbis. There's a decent amount of pink and orange water types.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more like it's not necessarily that there aren't a lot of blue ones, but I think it's also because we associate water type with blue.
Sure. Yeah. So it's the blue type.
Yeah.
even if the number of blue water types isn't that high.
Yeah. Oh, one of my something I'm glad that like more official Pokemon stuff has been doing, because it was something I saw. Probably there was other Fakemon designers doing it, but Aviculor used to do it a lot back in the day, making a bunch of not water type things that live in the water. So that surfing routes are not just like, here's another water type and another water type. Like I think Vic had a like a rock fire undersea volcano at one point. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's been more Pokemon like that recently, which is
exactly
nice.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can keep going.
Oh no, it's fine.
This is something I'm passionate about.
Yes, being aquatic does not necessarily make you a water type.
Yeah.
There's nowadays there's a fair few of them. There's the fighting octopus, that name is escaping me, but
yeah, the wrestling octopus.
There's Stunfisk.
There's the Yeti crab.
Yeah, I guess so. Although they're not aquatic.
Primarily
Pokemon.
aquatic, no.
Yeah.
But Yeti crabs themselves are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a Pokemon of an aquatic creature that is not a water type.
Yeah, a terrestrial Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because it's based on the first one is a coconut crab, and then they ruined it. No, they didn't completely ruin it. It's grown on me. I just still love its first evolution.
I don't particularly like either one, but I know people who love Crabrawler. Well, at least one.
Crabrawler is great.
Crabrawler as well, but the one person I was thinking of is one person who adores Crabominable.
Crabominable, it's grown on me. But I don't know, man. Crabrawler would store its hat.
Yeah, I think I prefer Crabrawler, but I don't think Crabominable is awful or anything.
I think it's the eyes on Crabominable. And I think it's the fact that like it goes from being like a Yakuza punk crab to just like, oh, this has no personality anymore.
Yeah, it loses a bit of that in evolution.
Yeah, it loses its personality, and that's like I like pretty much everything else about its design is fine. And I like the idea of a Yeti crab, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what I had in mind for Horsea. The color of the fins, I'm not sure. I guess it could be yellow, but it works in blue as well, so. I could maybe make the colors a little bit stronger, Saturate the yellow a little bit.
What if...
I don't... Okay, go ahead, sorry.
ahead.
Dang it! I don't know if I'm in love with the blue, but, I don't think I dislike it.
Like, I think it's all a bit much. What about potentially, like, I'm not sure if I like the blue on the stomach. What about swapping the position of the blue and the red? Like, so the blue is the back, the spines, and the red is the stomach. Sorry, my cat is trying to shut off my computer.
No, I definitely want the back to be red. The blue itself, I can definitely, like, play around with what blue it is.
Yeah, I might make it a little more, like, white blue, you know? Okay, I gotta feed my cat so he doesn't shut up.
Okay.
Yeah, the milder blue, I think I gel with a little more.
Yeah, I didn't have, like, specific shades of blue and yellow and red in mind. Just the general... just the general color. Yeah. We can adjust it more later. Because I am still going to redraw this anyway. Let's pull up Seadra so we can work out that one. You know what? I'm actually going to use Kingdra as the basis for Seadra.
Huh.
I like the body proportions of Kingdra much more.
Yeah, and if we're disregarding, like, evolutions made after, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does kind of look like a cartoony sun.
A cartoony sun?
Yeah, like S-U-N.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm okay with that. It matches the look of the Seahorse that I'm using as main inspiration anyway, so it's okay.
It's very cheery. I like that, though.
Horsea is a pretty cheery Pokemon.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Cute.
Yeah, so Seadra has a weird body. I love the way Kingdra looks. I think I've liked Kingdra, like, since the beginning, since seeing it, you know, in Claire's team in Silver.
Because I didn't have many dragon type moves to hit it with.
Fair. It was difficult because I think it's pretty much impossible that you're going to have a super effective dragon type move to attack it with unless you know to go out of your way to look for a Dratini.
Yeah. And even then, do you want a Dratini on your team is the question. And for me, the answer is no.
Not a Dratini fan?
I actually like Dratini the most out of that line. And and I'm not going to keep it a Dratini during gameplay, especially pre-Eviolite.
Yeah.
Like, I don't actually like that many Dragon-type Pokemon. I think that's changed in, like, the past couple gens. There have been some ones that I do really like. But I don't know. There's just something about Dragon-type Pokemon that hasn't really spoken to me.
Interesting. I definitely like them in general.
Yeah.
My main complaint about Dragon-type Pokemon is that there need to be more, like, just normal Pokemon that are Dragon-type.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I'm looking at Cerebi now. Let's see, what do I like that is a dragon? I liked Flygon more back in Gen 3.
Oh, I still like it a lot.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I wouldn't have included it among my most favorites. Okay, so I don't like any dragon types pre... I like Garchomp. So, Garchomp's cool. I like Giratina. I liked Druddigon, Hydreigon, Kyurem. I think the first dragon type that I really liked was Goodra, because it's stupid, and I like it. I also like Druddigon because it's a bad dragon type. It's a gargoyle too. Gargoyles are awesome. Wyvern's alright. I like Drampa because it's just it's a luck dragon, so of course I like it. I love the Neverending Story.
You know what's funny? My main impression of the Neverending Story, I haven't watched it in years, not since I was a kid, but my main impression of it is that it was too long.
Well,
yeah, there are a bunch of parts they could probably take out, but it's a good movie.
you can't say you weren't warned.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's just like it lives up to its name.
It's in the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, this is gonna sound super, like, extra of me, but I'd say my favorite dragon type is probably Ultra Necrozma.
It's not a bad choice.
I really like it. It's such a cool design. It's just, like, made out of light.
I really don't like the design. The idea I like, I really do not like the design itself. I think the proportions look really weird.
I don't know, maybe it looks kind of like Pokemon and Digimon had a baby, but I like that.
So
and I also like the idea that, like, that's the original Necrozma, and we're just seeing, like, the version that we're normally seeing is, like, the crappy, like, oops, all my shit was stolen by the Ultra people.
Yeah. Let me make the eye a little bit more Seadra-like. But yeah, I think that this Seadra is actually not going to look too much like Seadra. But I'm okay with that because I don't.
If you're sort of tracing Kingdra at the moment, so it's gonna look like Kingdra.
well, yeah, but I'm using Kingdra as the basis because Kingdra is better.
You're gonna get lots of comments where people are like, "Oh, that's Kingdra," and you're gonna be like, "I know."
Yeah. I think I will add some of the, like, spiky body that Seadra has. I mean, well, it's more of a scaly body, but I'm gonna make it more into a spiky body. But the big thing that I want to do is actually kind of like how Kingdra has the stuff growing on its head. There is this another seahorse that exists in Japan. It's called Seahorse, and it has some spikes on its head. It seems to not always have it, but I'll get the image. Just want to make sure that I credit the person who took the photo.
Oh, that's pretty.
So the photographer is Izuzuki on Wikipedia, and it doesn't seem to always have this, but in this photo and a few others that I've seen, it has these giant horns.
Yeah, some of them definitely do.
And so there's also other seahorses that live around Japan that are, there's the crowned seahorse, there's I think it was called the great seahorse, and they all have something on their head. And I wanted to combine the dragon part with the king part. So this is really a Seadra plus Kingdra redesign, but so my idea was to use those horns to give it horns, but like draconic horns, but also if I can make it like a crown of horns where two of them are extra large to make it more draconic. So that's the idea. I never actually settled on a specific like design of the placement of the horns.
Maybe make the horns, because a lot of these have like little branched horns. What if you made them like antler-ish, so they're kind of like Kingdra having the like the things coming off of its horns, but they're also like Asian dragons, where they sometimes have like antlers.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I was thinking, I was kind of picturing Scolopede's horns. I like the way that it bends.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'll start with that just because it's what I was originally picturing, but. Yeah, a branching horn, that could work too. This is probably going to be too big. It's going to have to be smaller than that. And then the crown can also, maybe it'll have to be bigger again, but then the crown can also turn into the ridge that goes down the back, or.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Or at least blend with it.
Yeah. Oh my god, I just fed you. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Cats. Am I right?
Praise cats.
What about something like Samurot's shell on its head? Well, not an actual shell, but isn't it just a spiral shell with a spike, or is there some detail from it that I'm forgetting?
Sounds about right. It's sort of like a samurai helmet inspired shell.
Oh yeah, but it does have some spike protrusions from it as well.
Yeah,
so,
and it does.
Yeah, that actually could work pretty well.
Yeah, that could be like a bit like the antler idea, just with the small branches. That looks like the Shiho Seahorse spines almost.
Yeah.
Oh, Orpheus, get down!
He's like, feed me again, more.
Yeah, he started doing this because I always push him down when he does, and he's like, I want attention. So I have to put like a box of magic cards on top of my computer so he can't push the power button, because he did that once.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at your cat turning off your computer.
It's okay. It wasn't during anything really important. I had another cat that turned off my computer once when I was playing League of Legends, and that's how old this story is, because I still played League of Legends then.
That really doesn't tell me very much. Because I never played League of Legends, so like I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know how long ago that was.
Knows. I tried like making like a a Smurf account once because I was like, I'm really bad at this game, but I'm such a high level. And then everybody was like really nasty because they're like, oh, I can't believe you're this low level and you don't know anything. And they were all like Smurf accounts of people who actually knew how to play the game. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not playing this game again.
Sure is League of Legends.
I'm gonna go play Smite where people aren't as mean.
Your cat was just trying to help your mental health. They were like, hey, I see you're playing League of Legends. You should not do that.
Yeah, you should do something else. Tutu was always all about my mental health. If I was crying, she'd come up to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Animals are sweet when they have like a good sense for that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Orpheus is distressed when I cry, though. If I'm loud, he'll leave.
I shouldn't laugh at that either, but that is a little funny. It's just like, bye, you're on your own.
Yeah. But it's because he doesn't like loud noises.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he doesn't like when they do the dishes. Because they'll, like, clank against each other, and he doesn't like that noise. He runs away.
I mean, that's just a good excuse to put off doing the dishes.
Yeah. It's like, no, my cat doesn't like it.
Yeah, no, I can't do the dishes right now because of the cat. It has nothing to do with me not wanting to do the dishes. No! How dare you even suggest that?
Ooh, I like the way how you made the crown look. That's pretty cool.
Does it look like a crown? That's my concern, I guess. Does it look enough like a crown?
Maybe the color will help it read that way?
Yeah, right now it looks more like 2 rows that turn into 1 row.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, but it's not what you said you were going for.
Yeah, but I mean that is kind of the idea, that it would be two rows that merge. But maybe if I make the big spikes a little bit farther back, and then there can be another small spike at the front to kind of close off the circle.
Yeah, makes sense if you had a spike in the front.
Yeah.
Okay. The cat's out of the room, so I'm just gonna close the door so he can't get back in.
Huh? Yeah, I generally do that especially when it gets close to feeding time. You just have to distance yourself from your cats, or they will never let you live.
No, we do have that problem, but we don't close our cats out.
I have one cat that's pretty chill, and my other cat will just basically climb on your entire body if he's near you and he's hungry. He will let you know, and you can throw him off, and he'll be like, okay, I'll be back in 5, and you'll be like, thanks.
Yeah, that's basically our cats as well. One that's chill and will at most like meow a bit when she wants food. Mostly she just sits by where her food is supposed to be. And then we have one who gets in your face about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Jenkins said. You can play as Tutu in a game on Steam.
That's true.
Yeah, it's a fun game too. It's a good racing game.
What is the game, and why can we?
You haven't played it because it's not a Pokemon game.
Yes, correct.
This is known.
Yes, so it's Supersonic Tank Cats.
Okay. Expand on that.
It's a game where there are cats that are tanks and they race and shoot each other with weapons.
Okay.
It's a very standard video game. There's an objective, you race.
Yeah,
like a Mario
there's
Kart,
a race mode and there's a battle mode. Yeah, it sadly does not have online play, but it has split screen multiplayer. So.
Cool. making a change to the face to hopefully make it read slightly less like edgy Seadra or edgy Kingdra. Literally edgy.
Yeah, it looks more like a crown now with the horns.
Yeah, I think so. I think it looks better now.
Yeah, I like the change you're making right now to the face.
Yeah.
Makes it a little more its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just like melting looking face is so so
that's
distinctly
very
so distinctly Kingdra. Yeah.
the wavy like mouth.
Yeah. Maybe that helps. Because I do want it to have the like sharp edges. Because Seadra is all about sharp edges. Its evolution is a water dragon type, but the drop art comes from dragons to maybe give a somewhat reptilian snout. No, I think it can be because the dragon side of Seadra and Kingdra comes from sea dragons, both the real and the mythological. So I think that. Keeping the seahorse face is in order.
Yeah, and Kingdra's body design more resembles a sea dragon, I think.
Yeah.
Gibster, new 151, we're, at the moment at least, not doing the evolutions that have come after 150, the original 151.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. I mean, I'm sure we could think of something else to do with Kingdra if we decided to add that on after we were finished with all of the Kanto Pokemon, but, you know.
Yeah. Just trying to come up with a nice natural way to make the spiky looking body, the layered body that Seadra has.
What we're doing was fine, but maybe just don't extend it onto the belly, or get rid of make the belly a little smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Like the colored area of the belly.
Yeah. I gotcha.
I'm really liking this so far, though.
Me too. I think I still need to adjust the crown, though. Something about it isn't working for me, but it is the direction that I want, and I like it, so... Maybe I'll just make it lines, just like Kingdra's body is scaly, just with lines, but maybe make those lines be zigzags instead of straight lines.
We're sort of pretending that Kingdra doesn't exist, but Libris likes the design of Kingdra a lot, so he's incorporating quite a bit of that into his Seadra design.
Yeah. Which is not... It's not something we always do, but it's also not something we've never done.
Yeah.
Taking inspiration from the evolutions. If the evolution is a good design, if the evolution is a better design even, yep. It's a good place to look. It's like, because evolutions, like later generation evolutions, and especially mega evolutions, they already are kind of like Game Freak canonically redesigns of this Pokemon. Regional forms as well.
The evolution.
Libris, are you leaning on your mic?
Am I leaning on my mic? No.
Okay.
Why?
It's a little fuzzy, in and out.
Oh, that's weird. Is it fuzzy in and out for people watching the stream as well?
It cleared up a bit now, but
yeah,
I don't know, like the position that you're in.
Huh. My mic is next to me, so even if I lean forward towards the computer, which I often do, I'm not really getting that much closer to it. Anyway, I think I'll adjust the lines in general when I draw it in a different pose anyway, because not much point in making sure the lines are perfect in this instance. But yeah, but I like that. The crown is the part that I'm still kind of like, I don't know. Because I think it's the right direction, but maybe I need to do it a little bit differently. What do you guys think?
What, the crown?
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix it. I mean, maybe like that angle of the front spike is off. That's all I can think of. It's kind of hard to, like, a crown is one of those things where it's just kind of hard to draw from a side profile, is the problem.
That's true. It doesn't necessarily look like a crown when you're looking at it from the side.
I think if you put it at an angle where you could see inside of it, you would get a better sense for the circular-like nature of it, but that really requires redrawing it, which I know is not ideal.
Well, I'm going to redraw it anyway. I was... Hello?
Hmm?
I thought I heard someone else joining the call, but no.
No.
Okay.
You might. Sorry, I'm cutting out some pieces of. I bought one of those Warhammer start collecting boxes. So clipping a bunch of pieces out of plastic.
I see. I thought maybe Ethan had joined the call because Ethan hasn't joined us in a while, but
yeah, I was thinking about that. He hasn't since like one of the first ones I came to.
I think he's joined since then, but not maybe, for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking of drawing Seadra from a sort of downward angle, or I guess upward angle, from looking up at it, because it is more, it's supposed to be more royal. I don't know if that would help with the, it probably wouldn't help with the crown look, though. It would probably make it even harder to get it right.
I mean, again, it depends on, like,
yeah,
the angle the face is at, like, horizontally rather than vertically.
No, but the thing is that from below you still wouldn't be able to see inside the crown. So.
Oh, but if it was facing more towards us, like if the head was more towards us, you know, you might be able to see the stuff wrap around.
It might be better to just draw it in maybe even in a Seadra position, because there's one of those Seadra official art has it looking down. That would be a good angle for showing the crown.
It might also read less like, oh, this is just edgy Kingdra if you drew it in one of Seadra's poses, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Rather than keeping like Kingdra's pose.
Yeah, maybe a position like that works better.
Yeah.
Some of the spike angles might be a bit difficult to get right, but at least now it looks like a crown.
Yeah, that position is definitely beneficial to the design you're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'll use that pose for Seadra. I'll think of something else for Horsea. So let me just put the colors in here. I think the colors are going to be pretty close to Horsea, so I'll actually start with the colors I used for that. Where's there it is. I lost it. I lost where I'd saved, where I'd kept the sketch.
So I was really confused for a second by this body.
By what?
No.
The thing the thing you're putting together. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like. So these are all like they're the Sylvaneth. This is Age of Sigmar, not 40k, so it's not like the Space Marines and shit. But these are like they're elves that got turned into like treants. I think they got turned into tree peoples, and so it's like a treant, but it's stepping on like part of its own like loincloth, which is bark, and it I don't know. It's I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I think it's like it's meant to show that it's all part of a singular like tree body. And it's super interesting, like if that's the case. Yeah, looking at it from the back, I think that's what's going on. It's showing that it's like humanoid looking, but it actually is tree. I was incredibly confused. I was like, why does this thing have one really long leg? There we go. Wow. Yeah, it kind of does look like a piñata if he's like yellow.
My favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the new FIFA piñata.
To
Someone's gotta make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will make the zigzags subtler. Like, it's not going to be as prominent as the outlines. So hopefully it doesn't continue to look like a piñata.
labeled all of the right and left arms. Yeah, they also include just a bunch of little, like, tiny bugs and owls that you could just put on the trees. And I kind of love that. It's just like this little teeny tiny owl in here.
Perfect.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was a big part of why I picked these guys up, was I noticed, like, they're, like, one of their big pieces, not in this set, but it's one you have to buy separately, is just this lady riding on a giant beetle, and I'm like, okay, I'm sold. I'm like, I was thinking about, like, two or three other factions, but I'm like, no, I want this one.
There's a lady on a beetle. I'm sold.
The beetle is, like, blinged out, too. Like, she's got, like, wings, and the beetle is, like, blinged out, and I'm just like, this is badass.
Maybe I can do something with the eyes to... Because Horsea has the, like, fake eyelashes. Maybe there could be some kind of pattern with the eye of Seadra as well.
Let's do bottom eyelashes. And that, I don't know. Or maybe just like one triangle on the lower right hand corner.
It looks kind of goth, but I like that. So that is not a bad thing.
This is the goth Seahorse?
Yes. Kind of like that.
I like that, yeah.
You see, it is literally edgy.
It's there's a character from Danganronpa who's got like his eyelashes are drawn in kind of like that on the bottom, just to show that he is like, he's supposed to look like a kind of androgynous character.
Mm-hmm.
But his eyelashes are drawn like that, so it's like, it's him as a Pokemon.
Indigo says that it's giving her David Bowie energy, and I can see it, yeah.
No, they all look, all the ones that you've been showing so far are pretty good.
I think it needs to be... I think the color needs to change. Maybe the body should be orange instead of yellow.
Yeah, you could do that.
Make it a stronger, redder color.
I think it would be better to swap the body color and the accent color, because then the crown also gets to be yellow, which sells it as more of a crown.
That's a good point.
Fair. We'll definitely also have to change the blue of the belly now.
This guy's jaw. Oh well, he looks kind of metal now.
That works.
dimensional. Sorry. Just,
now it looks angry, Aiden. Did it not look angry before?
It always looked pretty angry.
That's what I thought. Still kind of thinking about the body. If there's something else I could do instead. Offset the layers of the between the belly and the body. That could work. Maybe make the body orange and the part separatory line can be yellow along with the fin crown. Oh, like the texture lines themselves could be yellow if I find, there we go, if I find what layer that is. That's not a bad idea. Make the orange back of the body have spikes that go over the blue to look more like a cloak or cape over the blue belly. I guess I think I see what you mean. I can hear I think the music is going fuzzy right now. I think that's what I hear, not my microphone.
Yeah, your microphone's fine for me.
Yeah. Did you hear that fuzz though, coming from probably the music?
I don't have the.
Right. Yeah, the
video.
The stream. Yeah.
Because then I would hear you echoing.
Yeah. No, of course.
And if if I was listening to you guys in the video, I'd be responding like 5 seconds.
Yeah. No, I know. I know that you're listening to the call and not the video, but I forgot that in the call you can't hear the music. Yeah.
No big.
So that means that the fuzz earlier wouldn't have come from the music. So.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some folks are saying that it looks like a water dark type, and also that it reminds them of Crawdon, which, yeah, both.
It's got Crawdon colors for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that part I'm okay with.
Jenkins mentioned that the fin on Horsea was blue. I don't know if you're looking to keep that cohesive on this one.
To be honest, I wasn't totally settled on whether it should stay blue. But maybe adding more blue would help. But I was also thinking what I was actually about to do.
I like that they're yellow on this one, or at least the facial fin being yellow.
Yeah, the facial fin can stay yellow, and we can put the blue on the whatever it's called, dorsal fin.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking of putting some white at the top of the belly so that it looks like those handkerchief or whatever, you know, like the cloth coming out of your collar.
Cravat, yeah.
That's what it's called.
You've never played Ace Attorney. You don't know what a cravat is.
I have played it.
Really?
Well, I played the first game only. I haven't played any of the others, but yeah, I did play the first one. I was borrowing the game from a friend, and I think that I didn't finish it because I didn't figure out whatever the last case was. I think I never got through that before I returned the game.
It's really hard, so
yeah.
If it's like case 1-5, that one's really fucking hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember the details. The thing I remember about Ace Attorney is the names of the characters.
Yeah.
Like
I'm so good.
I'm really interested in the new one with Herlock Sholmes. Looks great.
Yes.
I think that like the one name that I always remember is, I think it was just like some random dude that was involved in the first case of the game, and his name was Salmonella.
Case, but yes. And he was called that because he was a disgusting otaku.
Like first name Sal, last name Manila?
Yes.
Oh
Sal
my goodness.
Manila.
That's incredible.
That case also had Will Powers and Penny Nichols, among others. and a woman named, an old lady named Wendy Oldbag.
You are gonna sell me on this game purely on these names.
Julie, you need to play Ace Attorney. It's amazing.
You haven't played it?
His best friend's name is Larry Butts, and people call him Harry Butts.
Infinipede, do you have physical copies I could borrow of it? I am really interested in trying it.
My mom has a physical copy of, I think, the second or first game for the DS. That being said, it's on Steam.
Okay.
You can get, like, all 3 games for pretty cheap. The first 3, that is.
Okay, I will look into it.
But yeah, if my mom has, like, the first Ace Attorney game, you can probably just borrow it off of her and see if you like it.
I will. There's so many good games and so little time.
Oh yeah, no, I know how it is.
What do you think of just a stripy alternating color pattern instead of outlines, or instead of lines on the body?
I feel like every change you make to it makes it feel more crustacean-like to me.
Yeah.
But like
really?
That is okay.
I don't mind that it's like the dark red to the like the one thing I am sold on right now is the cravat. You gotta keep the cravat. I'm gonna get one and name it Edward.
I can. What would help it look less crustacean? If the main color was more orange and less red, would that help?
Possibly. The sharpness, I think, too, kind of reads like an exoskeleton. So it's got a very crabby vibe.
Yeah, that's fair, but I don't think I want to change that, because if I make it softer, then it's definitely just going to be Kingdra. It's gonna lose any reference to Seadra, because the sharp lines are like the main Seadra thing that's left behind. So
the alternating light and dark orange versus just having the the lines definitely makes it look less crustacean-esque.
Okay.
Same with removing the lines on the belly and keeping just the front.
What do you think of that? Just emphasized the collar a little bit more, but kept the rest less defined.
I think that helps it a bit.
It's kind of like at shoulder level too, so it could be like it could be interpreted as shoulder pads on whatever fancy outfit this king is wearing.
Talking about, he's obviously a prosecutor. In all seriousness, though, I do like the collar concept, like the cravat and the collar.
Yeah. Overall, I like it. I feel like it needs to be more dragon somewhere.
Just to bringing back the segmented belly, but keeping it as straight lines instead of zigzags. That could read more dragon-like.
Maybe. Put white lines on the fin on the back. Yeah, that's fine, but that's not gonna be what solves my conundrum. Give the tail a point, but then it wouldn't be the classic curly tail of the entire family. I think that would look weird.
Really, I never thought even Kingdra looked very much dragon-esque. So I don't think it's too big of an issue, but if you're not happy with it, then...
I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe I actually don't want Seadra to be primarily a warm color. Maybe I want it to be blue. I definitely like Horsea yellow, but maybe Kingdra would work better if I flipped the blue and the orange.
Prosecutor named Kingsley Seadra. This needs to be a fan game. Yeah, Kaiju mentioned something that I was thinking. Maybe instead of a single fin, give it 2 back fins, so they'd be like dragon wings. Like, I know that's not technically what seahorses have.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, Seadra does have 2 fins always, so...
And if we're not considering Kingdra as being a thing that exists in the new 151 canon, at least not at this point in time.
Everyone has a different idea for what to do with this design.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's up to where Libris wants it to go.
Yeah.
Brainstorming though. I mean, that's what the chat's here for.
For sure. It's just funny to me that like they're like all over the place.
Oh, very. Yeah, I've noticed that since like the beginning of this.
Yeah, sometimes the chat ideas are pretty like in line, fairly consistent. Sometimes not so much.
For your designs, there tends to be a lot more chat brainstorming because you don't have like a sketch drawn up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I don't start early enough. and also,
it's because you're the one doing the stream.
I think Infinipede and I are universally scrambling like half an hour before stream starts.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Forgot to draw my thing.
Yeah, we are. Let me actually, now that we're talking about that, let me look and see who's next on the Pokedex. So if it's me, I can get it done.
But I guess showing up and being like, "Here's my guy. Here's exactly what I want it to be," makes that less open for discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also the like.
Oh, I'm next. Next month. Anyways.
I don't need to communicate visually to you what I want because I'm the one doing the drawing.
Yeah, that's what I meant by you're the one streaming.
Oh, yeah. Like, when it's your sketch, you need to give me enough that I know what to draw.
Yeah,
exactly. I probably give you too much. I give you a little too much, to be fair, but I really like to draw.
Oh no. How dare you?
See, I mean, you actually give him like a good concept sketch. I'm just like, here's something I drew in 5 minutes. Like, make it work.
I really loved the Tangela you brought last time in Finipede. I thought that was great. It was so cool that we got fan art of it too. That was so sweet.
What, we did?
Yeah!
Holy shit.
I tagged you on Twitter. You haven't seen it yet?
I am rarely on Twitter because I don't like,
Someone made Sprite fan art of your work, and I was extremely charmed by that. It's very cute.
Hey, let me get on my art Twitter, like, actually. I just haven't done enough art lately to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone in chat wants to make fan art, just know that we will swoon over your fan art, because I was like, wow, people like our stuff, neat.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's their profile picture too. That's adorable.
Yeah, they must really resonate with them, which is like awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Jackie, if you're still in the chat, say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you that you like my Tangela. If you're ever watching this.
He was around earlier. I don't know if he's still around now, but.
Okay. Very fond of that Tangela, not just because it's Tangela. I think it's definitely one of my better redesigns.
I don't even know how to rank mine.
You also have less than I do, so
yeah. I got onto the project really late. I don't know why it took me so long
to
show up here, because I like what you guys are doing. So, whoops.
Yeah, you. Like you've known about it from the beginning, and you told me that you had wanted to contribute before, but you hadn't expressed that until when it went until you did. But...
I know, right? Just too much going on, I guess. Too many cooks in the kitchen of my life.
I know the feeling. Like I gotta work more on a commission stuff I have. But it's also just like, it's too hot.
Yeah.
This other stuff to do.
I fully understand.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not that it's like, it's not that the commissions are hard. It's just something I don't find particularly interesting. I'm getting paid to edit crystal sprites, which is, I mean, it's amazing that someone's paying me to make edits, but like, I don't particularly like making edits, so.
Yeah.
And it's not Pokémon, it's just like, I drew like a Rapidash with a saddle on, and while it came out really good for like an edit, it's also just like, this isn't as interesting as like Pokémon work, so.
Yeah. It's also just really hard to start a project. I have the most trouble sitting down and actually like beginning.
Exactly. It's like, I know I can bang this out in like, maybe like, I hope the guy's not on because it's, I'm not watching this. If you're watching this, I'm super sorry, dude. It's been rough lately. Like recently, I just had some friend group drama happen. But it's really hard to get started. Like not only with the executive dysfunction, but also just like I can bang this stuff out in maybe like half an hour, like depending on the sprites. Some of them are more complicated than others. But yeah, it doesn't take me that long once I actually sit down to do it. It's just a matter of like my brain, you know, and my body cooperating.
Yeah.
So I'm trying some different things with the colors.
It was interesting. I kind of that made it very draconic. The seafoam green.
It's giving me a little bit of a clown vibe right now. Is anyone else getting the clown vibe? I don't know why.
I didn't like the green.
The clown.
I didn't like the green because, at least paired with the red, it made me think of Christmas.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, obviously, I could change the red like I am changing it right now.
I mean, you could just do like a seafoam green and a yellow, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but I like the purple because purple is like a royal color.
True.
So that goes well with the crown theme.
Yeah, and purple goes well with blue and with yellow, so it's...
Complementary colors look really bad together, but maybe that's just me.
Really?
At least if it's like, yeah, it sounds insane, but like, at least if it's like pure saturated purple and like pure saturated yellow.
Yeah, well then they are clashing because they're...
Yeah, because they're complementary and like... And that's what I think of whenever someone says, oh, these two go well together, and I'm just like,
I love a complementary color myself. I think they're
like,
fun.
I like it if you shift one of the colors a little bit. Like, love me some red and teal. I don't know if that outs me as a Homestuck, but, you know.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No shame.
Yeah, no, there's no shame. My friend Esme got into Homestuck recently, and I'm happy to be able to share with her some of my some memes from when I was like 14.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't read it until after it was totally completed, so I came way late to the club, but I had a good time.
Good. Oh my god, Julie, I know you've not, pretty sure you at least, if you have and you haven't told me, I would be super confused, but you haven't played, Danganronpa 2.
I have not.
But there's this character named Komida, and do you know how Fia calls, says blank is the Komida of this series?
I sure do.
Okay. Esme, I got Esme into Danganronpa before Homestuck, and then we were saying who is the Komida of Homestuck, and we decided it's Vriska. So I'm sorry, Julie. Vriska is the Komida of Homestuck.
Hopefully that's a good thing? Question mark?
It's a good and bad thing. Komida is fucking insane, but also one of the most popular characters in the game he's from, and infamous. His fingers in his ass, man.
What does this mean? Libras, are you following?
I know nothing about any of these topics, so sorry.
There's a video of Komida and Sans from Undertale, dancing to this song that's like Kanye West has fingers in his ass. And it used to get posted on Tumblr all the time. And it was like fingers in his ass. It's fingers in his ass Sunday.
Family stream, you know.
It's a family picture. Anyways, that's about that. But anyways, yeah. Komaeda is both very popular and very quote-unquote problematic. And 13-year-old girls love it. So there you go.
Okay.
Fun story.
I feel like this is so beyond Libris's wheelhouse as someone who has not even watched Naruto. It's just like, what are you saying?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I have
And it's like
no idea.
It's sort of like removing like all context, you know, of like not having context of like Homestuck and then not having context of Danganronpa.
Yeah.
And then just being like somebody speaking an entirely different language.
Here, we'll link it all back in. There's a fictional game that they play in Homestuck that's basically Pokémon. One of the characters is really into it.
And the most similar Pokemon character to Komaeda would be N.
There we go. We've all related it now.
There you go.
I still don't know who any of these people are, so... I think that's taken it too far now.
I got one more sheet of bodies and all of these heads.
Man, what color haven't we put on this Seadra at this point?
Yeah, right.
Gray.
Pink.
Throw on some like chartreuse. Get some puce in there. Maybe a beige.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it.
I'm just throwing out color names now.
I know, right? The
Yeah.
funnest ones you can think of.
See, I can't think of anything funnier than puce.
Puce is a very funny color.
It was a interesting factoid. In Cyber Chase, that was the hacker's favorite color, was puce.
Puce.
Yeah,
What color
there you go.
is puce? I don't know
It's a
offhand.
pink. I believe it's like a pinkish
pink.
purple.
Huh.
Or a purplish
know.
pink. I looked it up once because I was like, I always assumed it was a green.
They also reference it in Monsters, Inc., I think, for the sole purpose of it's a very funny color name.
It's a really funny color.
You know what I think this design needs? A better transition from the head to the crown of horns.
You're the boss.
I think everything else, like, maybe it's not perfect yet, but I think it looks okay. But the crown is bothering me because it's just a color change.
Yeah.
And if it was all the same color, I think it would work. But if we want the crown to be yellow, or whatever color that isn't the same color as the body, so that it matches the spines.
I mean, you could just make it like the head is round and then the crown is on top.
I don't want it to like be
Alternatively,
wearing
you
a
could give
crown
it like
though.
a zigzaggy transition.
Zigzaggy transition.
Yeah. I don't would look too much like it was wearing a crown because the head would be like kind of squashed in that case. But
zigzaggy transition could work. Oops. And I could also just make them into horns and have like the base of the horn as a separate thing.
ooh, that looks fun. Because that makes it look more like it's growing out of the head, you know?
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that, but it's up to you, obviously.
Yeah, I think I do like that better. I might adjust it a little bit when I do the redraw anyway, but
Don't
think
even
that's
talk to Banana Meteor about matching color scheme balls.
Why's that? Will I respond negatively?
No, you respond very positively.
What can I say? I love colors.
Fun with matching the balls to the color scheme if I can. You know, for me, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't match. Though I am united with Banana Meteor on one thing, and that is the fact that they can't. That the fact that like most event Pokemon are in like a Pokeball or a Cherish Ball is a travesty.
Also, you should be able to breed down Master Balls. It's silly that you cannot.
It's like why not? Oh, you only get one per game. It's not a special thing anymore.
Yeah, and it, like a lot of times in a game too, it'll be like some gimmicky way to get more than one anyway. And like, hey, if you want to spend your limited amount of Master Balls to catch a Rattata in one, so you have a purple ball for your little Rattata, there you go, perfect, done. I spent a really long time in Gen 7 getting the full Dream Ball collection, because I believe Gen 7, they were finally like, okay, you can pass down balls from genderless and male Pokemon. And I was like, well, time to get every Pokemon legal in a Dream Ball. And I did do it, but it took many months of coordinating trades online.
For that. Yeah, that was, that's crazy they managed to do that.
It was fun.
I think it contributed like maybe 1 or 2 Pokemon to that.
Well, thank you for contributing.
I don't even remember if I did. I might have just been like, oh yeah, I have this, like, I can breed you this because I happen to have, like, a competitive one.
Yeah, it's funny, the go-to question to see how hardcore of a Pokemon fan you are is, do you have a living dex? Which I get asked all the time when I'm like, hey, like, I'm really into Pokemon. They're like, oh, do you have a living dex? And the answer is no, but I do have a full legal Dream Ball collection. And saying that to a person normally means nothing. So it's like, well, I tried.
I just have like I just have a bunch of random competitive Pokemons. I can't even say I have like a collection of anything other than like I have like a bunch of dumb competitive Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a living dex, but I have a Eviolite cosmic power passing Skitty. So
and
there's that.
in a way, that's just better.
Yeah. No, it's a lot worse. It's good
like
for absolutely nothing. It's just really funny, and I love the idea of just waltzing up to like some like a competitive game of Pokemon. You know, in the future, if Skitty and Delcatty are in whatever the next game is, just waltzing up to like a competitive Pokemon tournament or something with like, this is my Skitty.
To me, there's nothing funnier than a Pokemon you know is bad, but you've sunk like dozens of hours into it to make it the perfect kind of bad. It's great.
Yeah.
Perfect kind of bad.
Those are so many of my Pokemon. So many Pokemon I have. Like,
Those
I have
are great.
I have a like swords dancing like Farfetch'd, Cantonian Farfetch'd.
Yeah.
And I bred like all the egg moves onto it and everything.
Wonderful.
Yeah. His name is Kid Cuisine. Because he is the food and the bird.
Yeah. My crowning achievement is certainly the special attacking Scyther, because once I realized it could get Technician, and you could get Silver Wind for Technician. For some reason, you could tutor Ominous Wind onto it and like Platinum or something. You could get Priority Vacuum Wave, which also gets boosted for Technician. And back in the day, you could make Hidden Power lower base power than 70 on purpose. So I specifically bred it to have Hidden Power Flying, base 60, so it would get up to 90, because that's the most powerful stab flying type move it could have. And then I put it on a team where I had Baton Pass Quiver Dances to it. And I can say for sure that no one expected it, and rarely did it succeed, but it was very funny when it did.
Trying to think, what else have I done that's really stupid? Because I've done a lot of, like, there are a lot of Pokemon I like that are not, like, very competitively viable. So I have, like, gone to the extra length to do stupid stuff with them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like, oh, man. Well, Magcargo was actually good in XY, because what I would do with it is I ran it on my Trick Room team, and then I would swap it into I would swap it into people's Talonflames and then use Infestation. So then I would just use like a rock move to kill it, and it was so funny because everybody and their mom was running a Talonflame. So I'm just like, this is my Talonflame counter.
I almost miss it. I almost miss when Gale Wings was just like super, super good. I don't think they had to nerf it quite as hard as they did.
Yeah, nerfed a little too hard, I think.
Yeah, it took a Pokemon that was seeing a lot of use and kind of made it just totally fall out of the scene altogether.
Yeah, like, they didn't need to make it that underpowered.
Yeah.
Like, and I say that as someone who really despises Talonflame.
Yeah.
Now I just feel a little bad for it, because now everyone who likes Talonflame is like in the same position I am with most of my Pokemon, and I'm like, I feel that.
Yeah, it's just a huge bummer.
Talon, what now? Lots of echo in the audio from me or from them, or both.
I was a little bit of echo earlier, but I don't hear it anymore.
Maybe
It's probably just that my speakers are too loud and my microphone is picking it up.
Yeah, that was what was happening. Like I said, it was happening a little earlier, but I was not hearing too much of it. I heard only a little bit, not like a massive echo.
Yeah, okay. And it's from both. If it's from both of you, then yeah, it was probably just my microphone picking up my speakers. I'm having a problem here because I wanted to draw this Horsea in a more interesting position, but I'm realizing that if you make Horsea face you,
it's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Yeah, there's a reason they're always drawn from the side.
Yeah, I mean, even the one at like that slight like 3/4 angle, the eye looks super weird. It looks like those like the eyes emoji in that official art. Yeah. It's just making the eyes emoji at you.
I could go for the one that's on the top left. It's just cool. like even though the fin is still going to be facing backwards because it only has one fin and not two.
It'll be a more interesting pose.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Yeah, we've done poses, like, we've altered poses before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching the video you did that you had me talk about my designs for, and you put in footage from the Muck stream, I forgot about how we would, like, all this shit we did with Muck's hands. In that
right, yeah.
They're like, gotcha!
Yeah, we had Muck doing some interesting hand gestures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it really does look like Muck is flipping you off. He's only got 3 fingers. The bodies, and I think that's also all the head. Nice. And this is just me feeling a sense of completion before I realize that I have to remove all of the mold lines and all of the little extra like spur things on these.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You've been really prolific with your painting lately, Infinipede. I'm really impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy I finished. Like I've been bouncing around from thing to thing, but I'm happy I finished. I can't say all of Merchant's Cove because I don't have the innkeeper, who's like the last character.
Yeah.
But
Close enough.
The innkeeper is great though, and I want them eventually. Like I was like, I'm not interested on this character. They're like, because Merchant's Cove, every character plays really differently, and the innkeeper was sold to me as like, well, not sold to me, but sold as like a commodity speculation type of play. And I'm like, it doesn't sound like that kind of thing. So I decided to pick up the other 2 instead, because the Oracle is like a roll and write, which I was like, I like roll and write games. And then the other one is called the Dragon Rancher, and of course I'm going to buy a character called the Dragon Rancher. So, but then I saw that the innkeeper, instead of like putting stuff on, like putting little cardboard items on their shelves to sell them, they take like the little colored meeples and put them into tiny cardboard beds. And I was like, oh my god, I need this. Like,
What is this game that you're talking about?
it's a board game called Merchant's Cove.
Okay. I don't know about too many board games. I have not heard about that one.
Yeah, it's kind of, it recently came out. But it's basically, you're all different kinds of merchants, and you're all selling stuff to different kinds of adventurers. Like, there's 4 different colors of adventurers, and they all buy stuff of their color. And each of the merchants, like, crafts their own stuff in a different way. Like, with the Oracle, you're, like, rolling all these pieces into, like, a bowl. With the Blacksmith, you're manipulating dice. The Dragon Rancher, you're essentially playing Mancala, and with like colored pieces of food, and then having the dragons eat the food.
Okay,
So
I'll pretend Vankala means something to me.
Well, you're just placing food down in a line, essentially. It's like a spatial puzzle.
Okay.
But it's like a super intense production. Like, all of the characters have like cardboard items that are on standees, and you put on their little 3D cardboard sales shelf, and there's like 3D cardboard boats and wooden screen printed adventurers, and everything is like incredibly, like, it was a Kickstarter game, so
Okay.
of course they went all out. And each of the characters has their own mini, and what Julie was talking about was I finished painting all of the minis that I have for that game recently. I've been painting other minis too, but that was what I was working on most.
To swing it back to chat for a second, I will say that Infinipede loves marks on Pokemon. They love them and specifically seek them out, so not everyone's sleeping on them.
Oh yeah, no, sorry for talking about that too much, but
No, that's fine.
Marks are not like appreciated enough. I have, like, my favorite Pokemon I have with a mark is it's like the Sleepy mark, or I forget what it's called, but it's the one where it makes like your Pokemon like blank the Sleepy, and I got it on a Poltegeist, so I named it Decaf. So now whenever I send it out, it's like, go Decaf the Sleepy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm really tempted to shiny hunt for an authentic Sinistea someday, but I have to
Oh.
wait till I have like I have to wait till I really hate myself to start that one.
Well, I mean, if if you do, like, props to you. That's crazy.
I mean, I haven't done it yet, but I'm considering it.
Props and thinking about doing it.
Well,
I feel
I mean,
that
like,
gives you points all on its own.
I've shiny hunted in most weird ways, so like, I've also really thought about trying to get a shiny through the curry encounters in this game, because that's something very few people have done, and I think that's so cool too.
I've never even had a curry encounter.
I don't think I have either.
Like a certain mark, but I've never had one.
I don't think I have either, but I rarely cook. I pretty much only cook as a last resort.
I was aiming for a while to try to get all of the like rewards from it. Once I learned you could get a ball that was just Leon's face, I was like, all right, time to learn how to cook. You get a ball to throw at your Pokemon that's just a giant model of like Leon's face on a ball.
I need it.
It's really silly.
I've been slowly working on the curry decks, but I haven't played Pokemon in a while.
I haven't either. I really fell off.
Yeah, my friend Mari is she got a Switch from her partner, and she said she got Pokemon, but she hasn't started playing it yet. So I told her when you start playing it, let me know, and I'll trade you some stuff if you want.
Yeah, it's always helpful when you have friends that are currently into it, because that motivates you. But I don't know. I think more so than any other Pokemon game, I've not played much of Sword and Shield, and I think a lot of that has to do with the Dex cut, which I know is a point of contention. But like, a bummer. I miss Swadloon. You know, I miss my guys.
Yeah, I feel that. Like, I got 2 out of 3 of my top 3 back, which is great. But like, you know. There's a lot of other stuff I would probably do if I had more Pokemon to work with, I think.
Yeah, same.
I just beat like the main story on my second file that I've been playing in Japanese for over a year. I was going really slowly with it because I was making a point of like actually trying to read as much as I could, but it just there's some parts with like so much dialogue. It was actually like making me tired just from reading everything, because like reading everything in a foreign language that I barely understand. Believe it or not, it's exhausting.
Like I've translated like some doujins that I own just like in, you know, not great Japanese because I can barely speak or read Japanese. And I use like a translator to figure out like what the kanji is and stuff. But it is very tiring.
Yeah.
That's the reason it's work.
Yeah, so I kind of gave up on actually reading everything. So I was like, I know what to do here. I don't need to read anything. I'll just power through. And so now I'm in the Crown Tundra, and I just need to catch Regidrago and Glastrier for my living dex. Like, that's the only thing I have left to do in this game. Crown Tundra is such a slog.
It is.
There is so much dialogue and so much just like go here, do that.
I liked the Crown Tundra better than the Isle of Armor. Maybe unpopular opinion.
I feel pretty laterally about both.
Yeah, and, same, to be honest.
I liked the addition of, I really like the, gosh, I'm gonna forget the name of it now, you guys will have to tell me, where you go into the cave and you do the missions together for the legendary Pokemon at the end.
Yeah, Dynamax Adventures, yeah, that's pretty good, yeah.
Those are great.
Those are awesome.
I liked Apricorn Balls coming back. I liked more Pokemon coming back to the decks. But like all the things I liked were just additional content. It wasn't like the experience itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one, Libris. I just like, it's hard to get motivated about playing through it, especially for a second time. I can't even imagine, you know?
Yeah, I wish I could skip the cutscenes, but...
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I just enjoy playing through it for the first time, always, just because it's like, I got my team and I'm doing stuff with my team, and even if they're like plowing through everything, it's just fun hanging out with my Pokemon in that way. But like, you know, after like the first time, unless I'm like doing something radically different.
Yeah.
Pokemon games are often fun in spite of themselves, but I feel like this one tried really hard to not be.
I feel like the main like mechanisms of Pokemon games are solid.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's just everything else.
Yeah.
The Pokemon are great. Like the world itself is fine. Is often fun. They've been doing good making like likable characters recently, at least. But other like, you know, are they good at doing anything with those likable characters? Not really.
For sure.
Yeah. Which is too bad.
Yeah, I think the reason I liked Crown Tundra more than Isle of Armor was I didn't really care much for the Isle of Armor characters, whereas I really like Peony.
Yeah, he was sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I can't say I liked the Isle of Armor characters that much, but I hate Calyrex.
A lot of people
I like Calyrex.
I hate Calyrex as a Pokemon, as a design, and especially as a character. So, I'm like, I don't want to help you.
It doesn't do anything for me as a character, but, like, as a design, it looks like a little Courage the Cowardly Dog villain, and I love it.
Yeah.
And, as I also like that is a Pokemon that rides on another Pokemon, and I know that's probably something you hate. But
that by itself would not be enough. I think it's weird that you catch 2 Pokemon in one Pokeball.
Oh, I don't mind that personally. I mean that's been a thing since like what Gen 5? It's like you fuse the Pokemon together.
Yeah, you just don't catch them that way.
Yeah, exactly. You don't catch 2 Pokemon in one Pokeball.
No, they can have in one Pokeball because Calyrex is small. There.
I mean, you can argue that like Magneton and Diglett are multiple Pokemon in a Pokeball.
They are one.
But they're not because you can't separate the parts.
It's just 3 Magnemite.
No, but they're not because you can't separate the parts.
No, because they're magnetic. They're too magnetic.
I see what you're saying. It doesn't personally bother me.
That kind of stuff doesn't bother me either. So,
yeah.
But I get that they would bother you. See,
yeah.
I don't dislike, like, I had a Fakemon idea a while back, and it's still one I have in my Fakedex. Cavalop, I think, was the, I forget the last, the whole, like, line's name. It was, I think, Duride, Cavalop, and something else. But the idea was, like, they were an interpretation of the French Dragoon as a dragon type. And the whole thing was like the final, like the second evolution and the final evolution would ride on other larger Pokemon. And they've just got like big like axes for hands, or at least one of their hands is like an axe. So they're like going around like jousting and like slicing at people with the one hand and like holding on to their mount with the other. So, but so I was like, oh hey, Pokemon like decided to do that. So like. Cavalop and Duride aren't that weird as Fakemon now. Like,
right.
So, kind of justifies the existence of some of my Fakemon, I guess.
Yeah. Blue Emerald points out you have Nincada who evolves into 2 Pokemon at once, except that it doesn't. Shedinja is not an evolution of Nincada. It is a leftover. It is a leftover. It is a byproduct of Nincada's evolution into Ninjask.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Someone mentioned Mantine with Remoraid on it.
Yeah, they took that away.
Yeah, that's a.
But for the first couple gens, Mantine did have Remoraid on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also it was always like a design element. You were never using a Remoraid.
Word, because it was on the sprite.
No, but like you with Calyrex, you are using essentially 2 Pokemon at once. They even have 2 separate abilities.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
and you catch them, like, for me, what bothers me is that you catch them in a single Pokeball. You catch them together and then you separate them. And like, yeah, sure, Remoraid was part of Mantane's design, but it wasn't a Mantane and a Remoraid. It was a Mantane that just happens to have Remoraid as part of it, just like Dragapult happens to have.
Of Mantike implies that it is required for there to be a Remoraid in your party
Around,
for
yes.
a Mantike to evolve into a Mantine. So.
Yeah, but
things get a little iffy with that.
For sure, but I think it's more of like the evolution is more like it needs to be around. It's not like it's not like you lose your Remoraid because it gets incorporated into the Mantine, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. That would be funny if that happened, though.
Yeah.
It would be like, it stuck itself to the Mantike, now you can't get it back.
Yeah. I think this is it for the Horsea.
It's just a slight change, but it works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that it still looks like Horsea, which we don't always do that.
I like it.
Don't call me out.
I mean, I did the Butterfree.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I think I've certainly made some that have strayed far away from the designs too.
It's part of the
Recently,
process.
maybe I should just design a bunch of Ultra Beasts.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Or maybe I should just, I was thinking maybe I should just set my fan game in Ultra Space. Because I want to see more of Ultra Space.
Ultra Space bothers me because it feels so poorly defined.
But
Like-
then I could define it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that would be fun.
If you did a game that actually used Ultra Space and clarified really what it is, because it's so weird. Everything about it is so weird, and it does not make sense for my sci-fi loving brain.
One of my favorite things about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon was the wormhole minigame, and I loved going through the wormholes to go to the Ultra Beasts' home planets and just getting like a snippet, like a little cutscene when you come in and a little slice of their planet to be like, hey, this is where this Pokemon comes from. This is what its region is about.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought that was so cool.
Was that those were all different locations in the same world being Ultra Space? But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like, it could be one world, it could be, like, many different realities. I don't know.
That's a possibility, too. Like,
Very
I
open
interpreted it
interpretation.
as Ultra Space is like the Pokemon region, and it is a large and vast world with many different biomes and many different types of living organisms.
Okay.
And we're only seeing, like, a portion of essentially their Pokedex
Right.
in the Ultra Beasts. And we know that their starters are likely only 2 evolutions, because Poipole is described as being often given to new, new Ultra Beast users. So,
Yeah.
like,
But isn't it weird that they have a Pokemon that they consider that they are given to like starting trainers essentially, except they don't even have the concept of a trainer? They're like, oh, Pokemon battles? How do I do this?
Yeah. Yeah. It would probably, like, my game would probably take place, like, later in that timeline. Or in a different part of Ultra Space. Because, like... But that being said, I do kind of understand if they didn't do, like, Pokemon battles. Because they're, given the slice of Pokemon we're aware of from Ultra Space, they're all really dangerous and nasty.
True, yeah.
So, like, which would make sense if we're putting my designs in an Ultra Space world, so all of my stuff can just go wildly off the rails.
I think the main thing that bothers me...
Sorry, go ahead.
I think the main thing that bothers me is... like, it's unclear whether Ultra Space is far away in space. Like, is it just like a wormhole to a different place in the universe? And so these are essentially alien Pokemon? Or, which is implied by measuring the distance in light years, even though the number of light years is ridiculously small. Or is it like an alternate dimension kind of deal? Alternate universe, which is what some of the other stuff implies. And if it's an alternate universe, or even if it's just physical distance, how is it that you go through a wormhole and end up on a place where you can find regular Pokemon?
I always kind of assumed that those wormholes were to, like, our universe, but other wormholes were to different universes. I don't know.
There could be alternate versions of our universe that still have regular Pokemon, and that would be where those wormholes go.
Yeah, just on a much smaller scale. How, like, you can go to Sinnoh and they have Ponyta there, even though Ponyta was first discovered in the Kanto region, like stuff like that.
So exactly. If it's alternate universes, why are we measuring the distance in?
I have no idea.
Because this isn't a science class.
Yeah, but Labris likes to treat it like it is. That's what
I know, but you know, not everything.
Hey, have you seen the video from Did You Know Gaming that came out over the past week that goes over the like Pokédex that Game Freak published in 1996? It's not just me who thinks like that. Game Freak themselves thought like that back in the beginning. I'm just sticking with that because that's the version of the Pokemon world that I like.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if we're going to reconcile wormhole, the whole ultra wormhole thing with light years, in that game you go through a wormhole. You're going a certain distance in light years, right?
I haven't
done it in a while.
Yeah, when you arrive, it says arrived at a world. I don't remember the exact wording, but it's like arrived at a place X number of light years away.
Okay. Theoretically, so if we're going to reconcile this with, like, potential science, going through, that's the distance you have to fly through space in our universe to go through that wormhole. That wormhole leads to another universe.
But you don't fly through regular space to get to a wormhole. It's through ultra space. Like, the entrance of the wormhole is right there.
Okay.
And then you go some distance
through the
wormhole. Through ultra space.
Through ultra space. Okay.
And then you arrive at the other, and then you go through another wormhole and you arrive somewhere else.
Okay. Okay, so ultra space. Okay. Ultra space could theoretically be another dimension, but you're going through space in ultra space. Does that make sense?
No.
What I'm saying is you jump through a wormhole, you enter space in ultra space. Like, essentially, you're in space, but you are in the space of ultra space. And then you fly some distance, and you go through another wormhole. And then you are in another area that you're no longer in the space of ultra space. You maybe still be in ultra space. I know this. I don't have a better way to say what my brain is thinking. I think the fact that space is in the name Ultra Space makes it harder. So, Ultra Dimension. The Ultra Dimension's full of wormholes. You go through a wormhole into the Ultra Dimension. You are in outer space in that dimension. You fly through outer space. There's another wormhole. You have traveled X amount of light years, and then you can jump through that wormhole. So the distance they're giving you is the distance between the two wormholes.
I'm still not 100% clear on how you're imagining this, but it's okay. I don't think that you're going to convince me.
Trying to make it make sense.
I think Infinipede and I are kind of thinking about it in the same way.
Yeah. So superimpose incredibly condensed dimension. Yeah, the area like that you would be in would be an area full of essentially having a lot of wormholes in one distance.
Would be a lot easier if Pokemon had defined this in any way, but they're like, nope, just jump on this lion and jump through the hole, it'll be fun. And it was.
So what Karen said actually makes a lot of sense to me. That 10 meters in ultra space could be like a bunch of light years in our world.
For sure.
Yeah.
Except that when you get out and it says that you arrived, you know, the farthest distance that you can get reasonably is like 10,000. 10,000 light years is nothing.
Yeah, maybe it's nothing.
10,000 light years
than 10 meters.
No, but like if that were the case, right? The hyperspace or whatever that you see in a lot of science fiction, right? It's like a shortcut through space.
Yeah.
When you arrive, you have gone more than the 10,000 light years. Like once you arrive, you can measure the distance from where you are to where you came from in light years. That's fine.
Yeah.
But 10,000 is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's still like a distance. It's a large amount of distance for a person to comprehend.
Would it not be possible for all these different universes and biomes essentially to exist within a span of 10,000 light years?
Absolutely not. 10,000 light years, I think. Yeah, like it doesn't even get you. I looked this up and I'm trying to remember what was the scale of, like, what is 10,000 light years in relation to like our galaxy.
Yeah.
But I'm failing to remember exactly what the comparison was. But yeah, but it's nothing. Like you're not going to reach a world like Guzzlord's world that is basically a ruined version of our own. Because like in the infinity of space, because it's infinite, you could in theory have multiple versions, like multiple planets that are exactly like Earth but a little bit different. You're not going to have anything close to that within 10,000 light years.
Theoretically, multiple planets like Earth but different could theoretically be, for example, a large planet orbited by Earth-like moons. Multiple Earth-like moons.
But except that there's actual humans on Guzzlord's planet.
So?
So it's not just some other Earth-like planet with Earth-like moons and Earth-like star. It is a planet where humans evolved.
In ultra space, there are essentially humans. They're just blue. So,
Yeah.
Pokemon in and of itself, the Pokemon world, posits that human is sort of the default, or to some degree, humans have evolved more than once in different situations.
I was under the impression that the humans on Guzzlord's zone were from Earth, and they were also exploring there. Is that something that they say when you talk to them, or did I just totally come up with that in my brain?
I think you came up with that.
I think
if I remember correctly, the one person that you encounter, they're totally surprised that there's someone else there, and they're like, "Why are you here?"
That makes a lot of sense for them to also be some sort of explorer then.
I guess so, it could be, but I don't think that it's explicitly stated as they are explorers in any way.
No, but then it could make sense that that's how they got there.
Right, it's certainly an explanation if it's left more open-ended.
Yeah,
and,
if it's left to
how
interpretation, that is potentially another explanation.
That's how I interpreted it. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
course.
sure. It is a.
There are
it is a
other
possibility,
Pokemon
but it
can...
is not something that they establish.
Nah.
Okay.
They don't establish anything, so.
And that's what I don't like about it. They don't establish anything.
Which means you can theorycraft all you want.
But.
Which is fun.
Well, sure. But theory crafting works with evidence. If you don't have evidence, it is not theory crafting. It's just here's an idea I had, and not here's the way that
evidence.
I put together the evidence.
We have some evidence based on, ultra space, but there's not a lot of it.
There is evidence, and none of it fits together.
We can connect it together, but only in tenuous ways.
And in self-contradictory ways.
Not
Because...
necessarily! We have explained there are a couple ways that this can work, but... we don't have enough evidence to know which one is the most likely.
You have posited a couple of ways that this could work, and all of them were... there was something that occurred to me right away, or that I'd already thought of because I have thought about this before, of why it doesn't work.
Human, the ruined cities and humans, we have said that person could also be exploring there.
Sure. In that case,
yeah.
Sure, maybe. I don't think that that's what's implied. But there's also humans on Cartana's planet. They
could also be exploring there.
Now you're pushing it.
No, I'm completely serious. There are, given that dimensional travel seems to at least be common to the people in ultra space, it could be common in other dimensions as well. Pokemon has said as much that there are multiple versions of the same Pokemon world.
Yeah.
And we know that there are many Pokemon that can do not many, but a decent amount that can do dimensional travel.
Sort of? Every version, that's another thing. Every version of interdimensional travel in Pokemon has been different.
Yeah. Essentially, those trainers, I know this sounds crazy, and yeah, theories can only go so far without valid evidence, so we don't have enough concrete facts to, theoretically, everybody in the Cartana world could be different versions of the person who got Solgaleo and Lala. It's a stupid
Okay,
concept.
now you're definitely pushing it.
It works a little. I am definitely pushing it, but there are multiple versions of the same Pokemon of the Pokemon world with slightly different stuff.
I just want these things. I want the setup of the world to be established.
Freak doesn't. I'm sorry.
I like being able to figure out like how things really work kind of deal. Like trying to figure out what the creators might have been thinking about that they didn't put into the game. That is interesting to me. Like what parts of the Pokemon world they have thought about but not actually put into the game like explicitly, but there's
I think we have come to the conclusion that Ultra Space is not bad. And I like that because it gives me more room as a creative to be like, yo, I'm gonna make an entire game about Ultra Space if I wanted to, you know? So like, but I understand why it bothers you.
Yeah, that is not the Pokemon world that I'm interested in. I'm interested in the Pokemon world from the first 2 generations, and it's totally fine if they add new things. Like if they add interdimensional travel, that is totally fine. But I still want it to be a science-based world, and not a world that uses the language of science to make fantasy. In the first couple of generations, the Pokemon world was just a version of our world, and it's gone farther and farther away from that, and I don't like it.
Science fantasy. So, like, that kind of, like, Ultra Space and stuff, I love that kind of shit. So, like, that's just what appeals to me in my fiction.
If Pokemon had always been, like, straight-up fantasy, I mean, maybe I wouldn't even have gotten as much into it in the first place, because I like fantasy too, but what attracts me to Pokemon, or what attracted me to Pokemon, in large part, was the science fiction elements of it. But even if I had still, like, gotten into Pokemon anyway, if at least it had been a fantasy-like world from the beginning, it wouldn't bother me that they are going in a fantasy direction, in a more strictly fantasy direction now.
Yeah. See, I always read Pokemon as fantasy. I understand what you're saying about it being, like, more science.
Yeah, strictly speaking, it's more like science fantasy.
Yeah, it is more of a science fantasy, but it was more on the science side than the fantasy side.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely science fantasy because, like, some of the shit that Pokemon can do is, like, really hard to explain without a degree of fantasy.
Yeah. Well.
No, I definitely, yeah, I say what Karen says. I do prefer the, like, I like the Pokemon with the dimensional travel and the weird alien animals and stuff. Like, to me, that's what interests me. I would rather go to a different world. Like, this is in most fantasy and science fiction that I like and enjoy. Is I would rather go to a different world, or if it's our world, a very different version of our world, like the Megaten games, where you're in Japan, but, like, it's been destroyed and rebuilt, and then destroyed and rebuilt, and there's demons, and people are struggling to survive in underground bunkers and shit. Like, I love that, because, not because it's our world, but because it's different, and there's demons. Yeah, what Karen says, like, I go to the worlds I go to in, science fiction and fantasy because they're not our world.
You see,
Like,
I like our world. I like our world, and I mean, I wish it were better, and that's what Pokemon gave me.
there's cool things about Earth, obviously, but there's also like, I don't know, when you hear about a planet that rains glass, or the possibility that there's life, like intelligent life forms that could build a society underwater, it's just like, man, why was I born a fucking human?
I mean, in that way, or like at least the rain of glass, like that's not going to be what you're going to find in most fantasy either. Like, if anything, you're going to find that in science fiction.
Yeah, well, science are there's enough of a connect between a lot of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're gonna, like, if you think about, like, raining glass could easily be a D&D spell, but there's a planet where it literally does that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's a lot of, any, sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, etc. And then there's, like, enough of a Venn diagram between a lot of sci-fi and a lot of fantasy anyway.
Yes.
Just absorbing this discussion. I'm in the middle on everything, so I'm just like,
I like, even if you, to me, it's like, you can look at Earth and be like, it's pretty cool, but like, there would be, I'd change a lot of things, and that's not even including like societal injustices. So.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that it wouldn't be cool to live in a world where you can have like a literal Umbreon as your pet. I'm not gonna say that that wouldn't be cool, but I think that if we could have a harmonious existence on our planet, harmonious with each other and with the planet itself and the non-human inhabitants as well, I'm totally cool with this planet. This planet is cool.
I'll take that, but like, that's great and all, but like, evolution still fucked up our bodies, I don't know, maybe I'm just the kind of person who's always going to want more out of life.
Evolution.
Like, I could be living on a planet where it rains glass and just being like, no, I want to go to that other planet. I'm just that kind of person.
You could say evolution fucked up our bodies because our bodies are not like optimized to do the things that we do.
But like, our backs aren't optimized to walk upright, and we are upright apes. So,
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
We are not optimized to do the things that we do.
As no animals are.
Exactly, and that's the beautiful thing
That's
about
the
evolution.
ugly thing.
No, that's the beautiful thing about evolution.
That's the terrible thing about evolution.
We got here by chance.
Yeah.
This whole
that's
planet.
The bad thing about evolution. We got here by chance.
This whole planet exists in all of its beauty by chance. It is simply the beauty of mathematics that has us here. That's the beauty of our planet.
I look at
of
that,
our world.
And I see what's missing.
What's missing is nicer people.
That's a good start. That's a good start. But I mean, maybe we would be nicer if we weren't constantly walking around on spines that didn't work right and that were in back pain. But yeah, I think that it is it's a very fundamental difference of opinion that comes down to not just Pokemon, but our outlooks on life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case you haven't noticed, this conversation is not about Pokemon anymore.
How's everyone feel about the Pikachu? You guys like the Pikachu?
I mean, I think the fact that Pokemon exists is a great thing. So. The fact that I think art is one of the things I think is really wonderful that people have been able to accomplish. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the fact that we are able to make it, and the fact that we are able to make it and appreciate it is also by chance.
Very much so. Weird opinion I have. This sounds crazy. This isn't like a serious opinion. I mean, it is something I'm passionate about. But so with octopuses, we know they're incredibly intelligent animals.
Mm-hmm.
That we likely don't understand their capacity for intelligence because it's hard for us to communicate with them. We also know...
And because we are very self-centered, yes.
Well, yes, but also, if you've never read The Soul of an Octopus, great nonfiction book, you should read it.
Okay.
So, yeah, because we're very self-centered, but also because we fundamentally don't communicate in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's enough human problems on Earth that nobody's going to come up with, like, you know...
Yeah.
Do the amount of intensive research into how these animals communicate and come up with like direct translation of some mental, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we know these animals are incredibly intelligent. So the female octopus, after she lays her eggs, she guards them until she literally starves to death. There is a gland in octopuses that when removed, the female octopus lays all her eggs, swims away, has more baby octopuses, goes on to live a life.
Okay.
I feel like the fact that apparently we do not remove this gland from captive octopuses. And when this gland is removed, they don't just like guard their eggs that are not gonna hatch until like they die because they don't eat or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
is this like a hormone production gland? Is this like a hormone production gland or something?
It is a hormone thing. Yeah. Okay. It's like apparently people have like researched and been like, okay, so when I want to do a little bit more research into it myself. This is only like a surface level understanding. But, like, apparently we don't, like, remove this gland from captive octopuses. So, like, we're just, like, leaving them there to, like, guard eggs that will never hatch until they die. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Yeah, like... Regardless, I feel like we should do some research to see how often, like, octopus eggs, like, what sort of environmental impact it would have if we, like, remove glands of these octopuses actually in the wild. It would probably fuck up the environment, and if it did, I'd be okay with not doing that. But, like, I feel like the fact that we know, like, how to improve quality of life for these incredibly intelligent animals, and, like, we're not looking into like, I wonder if we can just do this and not make it like a large environmental impact.
Yeah, no, I would. No, that I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, with captive octopuses, there's the possibility of just like you can remove it, you can monitor them, and you can also use this to like to rebuild a stable population or something if it's an endangered species or even just an endangered population.
Yeah.
But I would not want to do that in the wild.
Octopuses. The thing is, like, we're already fucking up the ocean ecosystem so much as it is. Ideally, we would not be doing that.
Well, for me, it's not just because...
If we're going to fuck up the ocean ecosystem, might as well do it for a good cause.
Well, for me, it's what makes me hesitant to pursue something like this isn't just, it'll screw the ecosystem, which it probably would in some way, but it's more just like, why?
I don't know. I see it as like, if we, like, let's say there was a species watching us, right? And we couldn't communicate with them. And we would fuck once, have a kid, and then die. And they knew how to stop us from dying after having a kid. But they didn't help us. I know I'm viewing this from a specifically human perspective, but that's obviously the only way I can view it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, we cannot know whether this is a thing they would want.
Yeah.
And also, what they would want isn't necessarily the best thing anyway. Us humans want a ton of shit that is terrible. For us and for the environment as a whole.
Barely make, like, I don't know. It's maybe that when we learn more about octopuses, if it becomes clear that octopuses, like, prefer living longer lives, I'll become an eco-terrorist and I'll go remove a bunch of those glands on my own.
And I will not support you in that endeavor.
I won't tell you, because then you'd get me arrested. Yeah, no, we do want a lot of shit that's terrible for us, but, like, I don't know. Who doesn't like dessert?
Who doesn't like dessert?
It's not very good for you.
Oh, I know, and I will gladly eat dessert, but it's not that someone else is coming in and being like, here, eat this dessert. I mean, to a degree it is, because it's my wife who bakes.
Yes.
But I want
I am not, I'm not forcibly getting told.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, I am coming at this from a very human perspective, and it's not something I currently feel obligated to go out and do, you know, even if I had access to a bunch of octopuses. Because, again, I don't know, you know, what they would want. The future octopuses will take over the world and then make us do the thing where we die after having one child. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yeah, like, that's another thing. Like, even if it would be like, I think for them to think of that as something they would want, they would need to have the perspective of that's not a thing that you have to do. And, like, for us, we think it's weird that you die after having children, because it's not something that has to happen, right?
Yeah.
So...
But potentially, like, if an octopus had that knowledge, like, what would they want, you know? I don't know what they want, but it would be, like, if we could get to the point with, like, octopuses that we have with, like, some of the great apes, like, who knows?
The great apes who don't even know how to ask a question?
Who can actually communicate with us, because we can speak a similar language to some extent with the sign language.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a similar enough understanding of the world that we are able to communicate, but
not well.
But they they don't even ask questions.
I mean, yeah, that's because. But what I'm saying is that's still a great league better than the amount of communication we have with octopuses.
Sure, but we can ask, like, a gorilla what they want, assuming they are fully trained in sign language, we could ask them what they want and they would be able to answer.
Which is
but
a great amount better than we can do for octopus.
Sure. But they wouldn't be able to ask questions. At least, like, as far as the research has gone, none of the apes that we've taught sign language to have ever asked a question. They don't have the, at least the theory is that they don't have a theory of mind. They don't realize that other individuals know things differently from them. So, if they
talking about that we are able to communicate with them on a certain level,
and I'm questioning whether we really are, because communication is about the exchange of information, but like, if they cannot request information from us, are we really communicating? Like, sure, I can tell, like, I could tell them something, they could tell me something, and I can ask them something and they'll answer, but they don't know to ask me.
You're communicating the best you can with an animal that does not have the same capacity for communication. Like, I think that is still communication.
I wouldn't want to make, like, policy decisions or whatever that affect gorillas based on the response of a gorilla.
You could make decisions that affect a single gorilla based on the response of that single gorilla.
It still depends a little bit on the situation, on the context, but...
Yes. But, like, if you ask the gorilla what they want to eat...
Yeah, sure.
But all I'm saying is, like,
if you're asking a philosophical question of do you want your gland removed so that you don't die when you have kids, that's a completely different level.
We don't know how smart octopuses are because we know they're very smart, but we don't yet have a way to communicate with them. We don't know what their communication, like, if we eventually came up with a way to, like, I don't know, flash patterns at each other in a way that humans could also understand. And we found out they are intelligent enough to understand this. That's what I would want before I went full-on eco-terrorist. I just think it's an interesting concept that, like, you know, there's potentially, like, if we found out octopuses, if it's like, hey, do you know you don't have to die after you have kids? And they're like, what? You know. But
sure.
there's a lot of maybes, you know, obviously. I just think it's I just think at the very least, you know, we should definitely do it for captive octopuses.
I don't know. It seems like unnecessary invasive surgery.
Captive, like, at least for animals in like zoos and aquariums, like, those animals sort of exist to be a like ambassador to humanity for their species. And it seems
in
like
a way, sure.
probably, yeah, in a way. I mean, there's also conservation to think about, but, like, you can conserve without having the animals visible to the public. But that's sort of, you know, that's the that's the high point, like, view of zoos and aquariums. Is essentially not a lot of people, like, I would never see an octopus if I didn't go to an aquarium or the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they can really inspire, especially younger people, like, about, like, with a love of animals and nature.
For sure.
But, you can, but, like, the idea that, you know, you could have the same animal, you know, and wouldn't have to go out and procure more, might be a better option. in those circumstances. To say it's like a parrot but with hands, parrots do probably know a lot of what they're saying. Like, not to the same degree as a person does, but depending on the parrot. Species and individual. Some parrots are very stupid.
So are some people.
Oh, yes, of course. My mom's bird is he's a green-cheeked conure, and his name is Feeny. Actually, to bring it back, he's named after Phoenix, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he says he tries to say "I love you" to us, but not all conures are great at talking. Like, compared to some other species of parrots, like, they're not the best. Some of them don't ever learn to talk, but he tries. He says "I love you," but it sounds like "doobie doo." Yeah, I don't know. Banana, have you been over and visited with Feeny?
No, I've never gotten a chance to meet Feeny for very long.
You gotta meet Feeny. He's so sweet. But
what is your stance on the intelligence of octopuses?
Cool.
Well, at least we're all in agreement on that part.
They're very cool animals, yeah. Like, even if I found out they were actually really dumb and they'd just been fooling us the whole time, like, I'd be like, they're still really cool. Yeah, but Feeny, he says doobie doo, and, what else does he say? Oh yeah, he says Feeny boy and Feeny baby, and hi Feeny and bye Feeny. So, I think he just thinks Feeny is, like, part of everything.
Yeah.
Or he just, like, saying his own name. But he's funny.
Which is fair, too.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, conures are not the best in terms of, like, parrots talking. But he's
Sorry, we got to the end of my scheduled, do not disturb, and I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I usually kind of estimate how long the stream is going to take.
Yeah.
And, but if we're still going when it reaches the end of that schedule, because I have the stream open on my phone, it's just like suddenly I can hear everything, and that's not nice. So that's not good for me, and the microphone was probably picking that up too, so.
It picked that up for just a bit.
Yeah.
It's Feenie to people in the stream who are asking about it. It has nothing to do with Tapu Fini. It's in the third Ace Attorney game. There's a flashback, and his girlfriend calls him Feeny instead of Phoenix.
Okay. So, you guys probably noticed I spent just a little bit of time working on the crown here.
Yeah, I saw. It's looking good.
I think it looks okay. I'm not convinced that it's quite there yet, but at one point you just have to call it quits. So.
We just had a rousing discussion about octopus rights.
And I'd support octopus the self-determination. I do not want
that would be the ideal, you know.
Yeah.
Octopuses have 4 rights and 4 lefts.
Actually, they have 4 ups and downs. Awesome. Oh my god, that just reminds me of that old, there's an old Tumblr post. A spider can hold 8 guns. How does it walk? A spider can hold 7 guns. I've never seen Boy Meets World. It is not a Boy Meets World. One of his names was one of his potential names when my mom was deciding on what to name her conure was Chad, after Chadtronic, who's a great YouTuber. But
I've heard the
mean,
name, but I have not watched. I'm not familiar with the.
You should watch. He's done some episodes that are actually on like Pokemon, I think. Like, I did think he did a couple bootleg Pokemon toy episodes, and he's looked at some older Pokemon, like real Pokemon toys as well. So you might want to check those out. You might be interested. He's pretty funny. But I'm almost disappointed that he's not named Chad when that whole like the Virgin blank, the Chad blank meme came out.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I could have made so many memes with this bird. He would have been an internet famous bird. He's great though.
Yeah, he's great, but he's not internet famous.
He is not internet famous now. He looks like 99% of other green cheek conures though, so it doesn't matter if he's not internet famous. I can find some great GIFs that look just like him.
Oh, so he's not internet famous, but he might as well be.
Yeah, basically. Maybe I'm just being bird racist though. It's like, oh, you can't say all green cheek conures look the same.
Are you telling me you can't tell the difference?
No.
No, you can't tell the difference, or no, that's not what you're telling me?
No, Chad, he did have a Pokemon channel. It wasn't 4 seconds. It went for a while, like when the Pokemon figure trading game was a thing. But after that got like canceled, he kind of just did it for like 4 seconds after that. But,
yeah. I missed those days, and not like I missed them, but I missed them. We never got figure trading game, or trading figure game, or whatever it's called, in Brazil. I didn't have that at all. I found out about it only much later.
Money then, so I didn't buy any. I probably would have gotten into it if I had my own money at the time, but it's probably a good thing I didn't.
Yeah, I have a friend that has several of the figures still, and they're so cool.
They were awesome looking. Yeah, like I kind of wish that they had kept going with it. That being said, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's a good thing they stopped, considering I'm building a Warhammer army right now, and that's a money sink. And if it was Pokemon Warhammer, then oh boy, I would be poor and on the street with a lot of Pokemon figure. Oh, the adults don't understand Pokemon videos are great. He was the one who did the video about like the guy who thought like Mewtwo was like making the satanic hand gesture, right? I'm trying to remember if that was Chad or if it was Chad or like someone else. I don't remember. Yeah, he opened a lot of Pokemon trading figures and stuff. Oh my god, sorry, boy, do you remember he opened, he got like some packs of Pokemon cards on eBay, and he got like a box of Pokemon packs on eBay, and he opened up that box and there was like a Yo Gabba Gabba pack in there. Like Yo Gabba Gabba trading cards. So, weird thing about Chatronic though. I saw the Chatronic Pokemon get forward and I saw that. I wish he still did, I wish he still, like, opened card packs. Like, honestly, I would watch him open, like, really shitty card packs, because he opened an entire box of those Yo Gabba Gabba cards, and that video was really funny. Anyways, sorry, but, yeah, you should definitely watch Chatronic at some point, Libris. He's a pretty funny guy.
Okay.
Yes, the Yuan Kazoo video. Those are also very worth watching.
So I'm going to do like a final-ish outline of Kingdra here, just because it's currently quite messy. So I'm gonna clean it up a little bit and then see all of the faults that are still bothering me about the crown.
It looks pretty good right now. I'm liking the pose.
I think I just have artist syndrome, where it was nice when I drew it, and now I don't like it anymore.
Maybe like finish the final outline, do everything you can, and then step away from it and come back later.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that helps me a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had a Nickelodeon channel for like 0.2 seconds. See, Chadtronic is a very relatable YouTuber because he also starts things and doesn't finish them.
Speaking of start things you don't finish, I had someone asking me on the latest new N51 video if there was any plan to put those designs into a game.
If somebody actually goes and says, yes, I will code, I will hack these into a game if you make them, I will probably start making sprites again. It's just right now, it's like, I don't want to do it myself. I don't know how to hack.
If that's something that gets going, I would make sprites of my own designs for sure.
Hell yeah, I would appreciate your help too, because like, it would take a lot of sprites.
Yeah,
we wouldn't just have to do the regular ones with back sprites and icons.
I would try to keep them in line with the style you were doing too, so it looks
it's just the Ruby Sapphire style. So. Yeah, no, that'd be awesome if somebody did say like, yes, I'll put these in the game and show me proof that they could, then I would go and make some more of the sprites. Yeah, I think I agree that the perspective on the mid-horn is a little off.
On which one?
The one in the very center. Like, compared to the one on its right, like, it's because those horns that are basically just above the visible eye,
Yeah.
They would all be more or less pointing directly towards the viewer.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really work because you wouldn't see them. Like you would just see.
No, I
like
understand
the three-dimensionality
it's
of them.
just, I understand that. It's just the stylization of them is a little strange. Like it's just I don't know. Maybe it's just because I stylize that a little differently. With like the central one, you would probably see like less of the top line and more of like the rounded bottom, but that would just be me.
Oh yeah, if that's all it is, then that's an easy fix.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's mostly just the middle one and the one on our right look almost like they're pointing in exact opposite directions, whereas I know you want the middle one to look more in the middle.
Yeah.
They're cutting out more of these. I got distracted watching, talking about octopuses and Pokemon World.
Oh wait, Finn has to go here. Before I had the spine going, because when I only had one fin, I had the fin going like behind the spine. But obviously, if there's two fins, the spine is going to go in the middle. Yeah. So I guess I have to figure out what this connection here is going to look like.
Yeah. The hardest part of art. Oh god, I gotta draw stuff in a different pose.
Yeah. This isn't the way I was planning it.
Wonderful design. What does it look like when it does this?
Yeah.
Like, I've had at least 2 people ask me if the final fire type starter I did, Oni Kanabo. Like, I've had a couple of people ask me, does it have elbows, and are the elbows on the side with club or with just the skin? And I'm just like, I don't know. Don't ask me. I think I've come to the conclusion they're on the side with the skin. So. Still, it's... Don't ask me.
If I didn't draw it, I don't know the answer.
Even if I did draw it, I might not know the answer until you...
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, oh, does it have elbows? If I didn't draw elbows, I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, Doa Boy, I actually only watched, like, one of the Sammy Classic Sonic Fan episodes. I'm just a little iffy on, like, making fun of a kid who, like, you know, who is a kid and might be on the spectrum. I haven't seen the interview, though. Also, there was a lot of screaming in those episodes, and I don't do well with that. I say that as somebody who watches a lot of YouTube, but, you know. That I think made a good point about mirroring the artwork to check for.
Oh yeah, I never remember to do that, and
neither do I.
And if I do it, it's gonna look horrible.
It look all right. Just might need to touch it up.
Yeah, no, but like I already don't like the way the crown looks, so if I mirror it, it's gonna be even worse.
Commissions I'm working on right now is actually a fire starter goat.
A fire starter goat.
Yes. I think the final it's either the first stage is Lambdal, and it's got candles for horns.
Is one of them called Pyrote? Because it should be.
No, but that's a good name. That'll be the middle stage.
Aha!
Thank you. Thank you
You're
for helping me
welcome.
with my commissions.
Happy to be of help.
Yeah.
Wait, do you name the commissions yourself? Like, someone commissions you to draw it, but you get to name it?
It depends. It depends on the person. Like I have one person who comes to me with names, and then I draw the Fakemon.
That's what
like,
that's what I would expect.
Yeah. This person just said, "This is what I want. I want a fire type goat starter, a water type direwolf, and a grass type leopard." So I didn't have any names. I'm gonna give them names, but if he wants to name them something else, that's their prerogative, you know.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I was just like, you know, Lambdal is a great name for this Pokemon.
Yeah, Lambdal is really cute. I like that.
Yeah, it is a very cute looking Pokemon. I'll show you the, if I remember, I'll show you the spray. Banana. The guy who comes to me with the names, though, comes up with some, like, quality puns. Like, he maybe do, well, not maybe do, but, I did a fire, bug type bee and wasp. And their names were Spicy and Waspabi. I think I did a pretty good job on both of them. They're adorable, and I
love these names. You'll have to show them to me sometime. I'm interested.
Yeah, I have them up on my DeviantArt. Like pretty much all the stuff I've done for him so far. Like he's been working on his game for a long time, and we touch base with each other every now and then, like when he has money and when I need money, and then I just do like a big old batch of sprites for him. It's he's like Australian, and his region's based on Australia and New Zealand, so lots of fun animals. Cool. Yeah. Like I think there's like a really tiny little marsupial and that's what his like Regions Rattata is based on. And he wanted me to make the sprites like super small, and they're tiny and adorable, and you will like them. They're very cute.
Making the sprite to scale.
I mean, it works. Like, I managed to make them look in. They're like one of those Pokemon that does have like a weapon, and the weapon just it's in scale. It works. It works really well. Like he's got like a little stone arrowhead that's like the size of his body.
Sounds cool.
The Pokemon just picking it up off the ground and just being like, "This is mine now." But yeah, very good commissioner to work with. Would recommend if he ever needs like I don't know anything else, I'll send him your guys' ways if you're doing commissions.
Yeah, I occasionally do commissions. Mostly recently, the only commissions I've been doing are Twitch emotes for Ethan, like specifically the ones for Ethan. But like, it's easy to work with Ethan because we know each other. We have known each other for a while, and so like, I have a good sense of what he wants, and he has a good sense of what I can do. So it's easy to work with that, and like, basically he commissions one emote at a time, and so I can find time to draw one. If I was commissioned to do like a whole bunch of things at once, I couldn't find time for that.
I tend to take batch commissions, and those are hard to get around to do. But I can at least update people with like single sprites. Like, here's what I finished.
Yeah. Like, if I was commissioned to do something of that scale, I think I would have to like actually block off time to do it in my work schedule, whereas when Ethan asks me to do an emote, I find time to do it around my other work.
Yeah.
And that probably means that I can get it done sooner, because if I had to like right now, if I had to schedule time to do something, it would probably be like at least 3 weeks before I can even like start on it. Whereas when Ethan asks me to do something, well, I mean, sometimes I still take forever to start on it, but sometimes I'm able to do it right away. Because it's just like, oh, I have a couple hours to work on this tonight. That's fine. So, I usually don't take commissions unless it's something that I'm really interested in doing, and just turns out doing emotes is fun.
If you ever wanted to do art of any of my designs, I can ask the guy if he wants like to commission Sugi art off of you. But obviously, that would be dependent on you having time and wanting to do commissions.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, because I usually have more than enough work to keep me busy.
Yeah. Whereas for me, it's
YouTube and work.
Not. Yeah.
Between YouTube and my normal paid work, I usually have plenty to do.
Yeah. Applied to PetSmart as like a morning stalker. But I am getting an interview, so we'll see how that goes.
No, well, good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah, I hope that goes well for you.
Heads on that sheet. Arm or just a branch? Those are just decorative branches.
Boy, I'm sorry I missed this in chat. If you want to send me your starters, I'd love to see them. Be happy to look at them.
Do it. Post them in Discord.
Yeah, do it. I'd like to take a look too. I always like seeing other people's make them. It's fun.
Well, I think it overall looks pretty good. I'm still a little like unsure about the crown, which kind of
center 3 horns look a lot better.
Oh yeah, I edited them a little bit, but like
They look quite nice.
the thing is that I was like the most excited about the crown. That was like the idea that I had. I was like, oh, a crown that is also horns, so it fits with the king and with the draw. And now it's like it doesn't really work.
Hey, it's just me, but
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about it. It's not right for me. If all the yellow parts were white, Sharon, we would lose all of the resemblance to Horsea.
yeah.
It definitely needs to have yellow. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be in the particular orientation or the particular placement that we have it now, but it needs to have yellow in there. Were the similarities to Corsola and Slowking intentional? No, not really. The colors are not what's bothering me. It's I don't know. I don't know what I need to do differently with the crown to make it work. Like, maybe it would work better if it wasn't yellow, if it was just the same blue as the head. In that case, it would look more like Kingdra, and then I wouldn't have to worry about, like, the color division at all.
The center 3 spikes part of the head and blue, and then the rest were just, like, yellow? I sounds super weird, but like, it might look like a wreath then, which would also be a royal thing.
In that case, I would probably just not close up the front.
Do that too.
Because I guess that's another thing that I'm thinking about is that it's making it look like a Pachycephalosaurus.
It does look a little like
with the pose and everything, right? So no, the two head horns don't look like they're symmetrical, but that's the part of the reason for that is simply because one of them would be like more or less facing the camera, and it's really difficult to draw that in a way that looks good and looks like accurate, like where you can actually tell what's going on. So you do have to like fudge things a little bit.
Pose is the issue. I don't know. See,
I mean, if the pose is the issue, like I would just go back and use this one, and figure and like.
Then it looks too much like.
Yeah, like the crown looks okay here. I would probably still want to touch it up a little bit, but it looks better It doesn't communicate as a crown, it just communicates as two
Yeah.
ridges, but it looks okay.
I'm just trying to suggest things. Like again,
Yeah.
I prefer the Seadra pose, just because it's not like, hello, I am bootleg Kingra. But
Yeah. I mean, to me it still reads that way, but that's okay. Like, it is...
yeah, I mean, it definitely still reads that way, but it just looks very obviously like Kingra, the other one.
Yeah. Maybe there's a different crown design that would still look crown-like, but without... but not look
I have a
the way it does.
I have a closed species that also has like spike crowns, and I did a ton of different spike crown designs for those.
Yeah, it's tough.
Are we approaching the final crown?
What do you think? I'm thinking of something like almost like a Loki helmet kind of deal.
Infinipede.
Sorry?
I liked Infinipede's joke. It was very funny.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm going for something almost like a Loki helmet kind of deal.
I like that a lot more than what was going on.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
I'm sorry if you get a C&D from Marvel, but I'm for it.
Your video just immediately gets shut down.
I mean, I did read something about, or I didn't actually read it, I just saw some tweets about it and some headlines about Disney, like, issuing takedown notices on Loki-related, like, designs and merch and stuff.
Shit.
But not, like, Marvel's Loki, just, like, Loki the god.
Oh my god, I have a friend who is a Norse pagan who, like, has actually gotten angry about stuff like that recently.
Yeah. Makes sense, I mean...
Yeah, that's like...
That does
like,
not belong to you, Disney.
Yeah, like, that's insulting to me as, like, someone who likes mythology and doesn't really like Disney. But, like, that's particularly insulting to her.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. Drop the branch.
Okay. I like the crown design. It's much simpler, so it's also a little bit easier to draw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should still put, like, the little spikes on it, though. The horribly spikes.
Oh, yeah. I will. I was just kind of figuring out what the placement was going to be, yeah.
So this is Loki and Edgeworth's baby. And also a seahorse. This is the strangest crossover fanfiction I've ever seen. No, I've read Strain.
Don't lie to us.
Yeah, there's this one guy who writes, like, Negima crossover fanfiction, and it's, like, crossed over with, like, 20 different things. And, like, his first story I read was, I really liked it until he started adding in all the the crossover elements were at first just, like, little fun, like, cameos. But then he started, like, adding a ton of crossover stuff. I think the point when I stopped reading is when he previewed that his next chapter was just going to be called Batman, and I'm like, no, I'm done. This is too many crossovers. It's like, chapter 20, Batman! I'm like, this isn't what I signed up for, man.
Yeah, what is this, Fortnite?
But this is... He would probably cross it over with Fortnite now. That's just the kind of writer he is.
I was making a joke that Fortnite is crossing over with everything, but yeah.
Oh! I don't pay enough attention to Fortnite to know that.
Oh, I don't pay any attention to Fortnite myself. I just see ads for it on Twitter.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
I have
no
never...
shame to any Fortnite fans out there. I'm sure.
I'm just joking.
I have never...
I mean, we all know you haven't played any games except for Pokemon and apparently the first Ace Attorney.
For some inexplicable reason.
Yeah.
I think at the time, the friend that I borrowed it from, I think this was at the same time that they were my roommate. So, like, the one time in my life that I had a roommate. So, that was why. They told me about it. They were right there to make sure I played it.
It's a good game. It's definitely worth the play. Yeah, there should just be a Pokemon-themed case in one of the games. That would be fun. It's like a Pokemon trading card game theft case.
I mean, this could be pretty high stakes these days.
Exactly, it practically writes itself. Like, Maya goes to Phoenix and she's like, somebody stole my super rare Steel Samurai trading card. And he's like, oh yeah, here, I'll give you $5. You can go buy another one. She's like, no, you don't understand. Here's how much it costs. And he's like, what? Oh, sorry, I accidentally hit the mic. I hope that didn't make a loud noise.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it made a noise, but not a particularly loud one.
Good.
At least for us in the call.
Okay. Hopefully the chat didn't just all become deaf at the same time.
That would be bad.
That would be very bad. Then they couldn't hear us talking about this sick fucking crown on this Kingdra. That I looked away for a second to clip pieces and then I looked back and it looks amazing. Seadra, sorry, not Kingdra.
At this point, same difference.
Yeah. Singdra.
Horsea 2. Sequel to Horsea.
Horsea 3. More Horsea. Too Horsea, too furious.
Yeah, I think you've definitely differentiated the crown enough from Loki now for it to be its own thing.
It's definitely Loki-esque, but it looks different enough.
Yeah.
Jesus, Seadra.
Alright, well, I might want to still adjust the lines on the crown a bit, but I think I'm kind of over working on the crown right now, so I'm just gonna like fix the colors, put the right colors back in place, and then we'll call it a day for the stream, and it'll be fixed by the time the final is done.
Ta-da!
No, the final's not done yet. It's not time for ta-da.
It's done! Post it! Post it right now!
I haven't even fixed the collars yet!
Looks like it's done! Throw it on Twitter! Sorry I got a little quiet for the second half of the stream there. I think I just ran out of talking energy.
Sorry, I feel bad because I feel like I was talking too much.
No, don't worry about it. I didn't want to get in between you guys and your wormhole, your octopus talk, you know?
Great. I know I can be kind of overpowering. So.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, you're good. And the important thing is to keep the viewers entertained.
They apparently were very entertained because this is a pretty active stream, so.
Yeah, it's great.
Worked out.
There we go. A very royal looking Kingdra. It definitely looks way more like a Kingdra than a Seadra, but
We haven't done crazy redesigns before.
yeah, and that was kind of the point with this one.
Yeah.
This Seadra isn't great. Kingdra is. So I'll put Horsea on screen as well. I'll put the other one. Here we go. And hey, the purple still has that kind of implication of potentially a poison type.
Hey, you're right.
If you get poison pointed by this, it won't be totally surprising.
Yeah.
New Crown definitely brings it all together. That's good.
Yeah.
Seadra has been retconned from the new N51. Yeah, just throw it out.
Yeah, I kind of feel like these two have similar enough colors too that they look related. That yellow is really doing work.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely looks like that could evolve into that.
Yeah. Cool.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm glad that I found a way to do the crown that was like my main idea. Didn't have to throw that out, even though I wasn't happy with most of the designs that I did, but it's good. Look. Alright, well, blue to orange looks so much cooler. Blue to orange? Oh, you mean if it was orange instead of yellow? Well, we had orange before. I think you weren't here, Sharon, but we played a lot with oranges and reds and stuff, and it wasn't working for me, so I like the blue and purple. I think it works well. So, thank you guys for watching. Let's have a look at what's next. Infinity, you already looked that up.
Golding and Sea King, and that's me.
Sounds good.
I already have some designs, kind of. I have a couple of different concepts I've sketched out for that one, so
Great.
Hopefully it won't be last minute this time.
Just so we can like look ahead a little bit as well. You're also signed up for Star You and Star Me, which is after that.
I'm very excited about those two. Yeah.
We have nobody signed up for Mr. Mime after that.
Take the bullet for.
Yeah.
I would do Mr. Mime if no one wants Mr. Mime.
Love to see your take on Mr. Mime.
Yeah.
I would love to do Mr. Mime.
Sounds
Sign
good.
me up for Mr. Mime.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking that after we get Staryu and Starmie done, it would make sense, because after that we have like a ton of single stage Pokemon. They're not all grouped nicely, but I think that maybe we can kind of fudge the order a little bit so that we can do like Scyther and Pinsir together. We could do Mr. Mime and Jinx and Electabuzz and
Jinx
Magmar
design
kind of thing.
Pretty much finished, so.
Cool. Yeah, so would you be down for that, for fudging the order a little bit so we can have some more thematic groupings of single stage Pokemon?
We've done it.
Infinipede, you cut out there, but yes, we have fudged the order of Kangaskhan before, but I think that from now on it would be way more significant. So
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
okay, sounds good. All right, so next time should be on August the 14th
Alrighty.
for Goldeen and Seaking. So look forward to that.
Cool.
And
I will.
yeah, that's it. There's a new episode of the linguistics series that's going to come out already on Monday. Hope you guys are looking forward to that. The reception on the first episode was very good, so. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. There we go.